out here on the street, I'm losing my way. You've gotten to me, and that's my mistake. Some might say I can't get too far without seeing your face. Oh, you gave me your heart and took it away. I'm going underground, going underground. Say your loving comes around, going underground, going underground. 'Cause your love is not around anymore. Going underground, 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 yeah. Going underground, 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 yeah, make a life for myself. 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 Make a life for myself.
We're driving downtown, foot pushed on the pedal. Move to songs we play together. Feel like we're on holiday. I got a feeling it's a good day. We're driving downtown, foot pushed on the pedal. Move to songs we play together. Feel like we're on holiday. I got a feeling it's a good day. Downtown, foot pushed on the pedal. Move to songs we play together. Feel like we're on holiday. I got a feeling it's a good day. Let's go back to the days, down memory lane. Back to the times when our life was a breeze. Feel the freedom again, my mind was at ease. The sky was so blue when we rolled down the street. So, hey, I just wanna touch your vibe. I just wanna touch your vibe. Hey, I just want a good time, good time. We're driving downtown, foot pushed on the pedal. Move to songs we play together. Feel like we're on holiday. I got a feeling it's a good day. We're driving downtown, foot pushed on the pedal. Move to songs we play together. Feel like we're on holiday. I got a feeling it's a good day. Sun going down, living the dream. Everything's clear, but the lines are the freeway. Let's do it again, like back in the day. Nothing can stop us from living the feeling. Hey, I just wanna touch your vibe. I just wanna touch your vibe. Hey, I just want a good time, good time. Driving downtown, foot pushed on the pedal. Move to songs we play together. Feel like we're on holiday. I got a feeling it's a good day. Downtown, foot pushed on the pedal. Move to songs we play together. Feel like we're on holiday. I got a feeling it's a good day, good day.
Don't think twice, baby, sit tight, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe. Don't be shy, stay the whole night, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe. Yeah. See the fireplace is good to go. Hear the love songs on the radio. All I wanted was to take you home, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe. Yeah. I'll do whatever you want. It's all good to pull you down. I might not give you my heart, but you can have the rest of me. Don't think twice, baby, sit tight, 'cause we gotta kill the vibe. Don't be shy, stay the whole night, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe. Yeah. See the fireplace is good to go. Hear the love songs on the radio. All I wanted was to take you home, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe. Yeah.
She a thirsty bitch, I'm gonna visit your dreams. You can see you here, you know that she's near when you sleep. I be under your bed and I hear you fear. She a thirsty bitch, I'm a thirsty beat, real thirsty. Like a snitch on me, now wake up, wanna hear you scream. It's not a dream. Run for your life, I hunt your heart, you can chase me, but I make you starve, you're a punk bitch. Just a punk bitch. Run for your life, I seek you hide, you can chase me, 'cause I'm right behind, you're a punk bitch. Just a punk bitch.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Valorant Challengers Northeast. It is day 6 of the playoffs. There's only a few days left to go, and today we have some really exciting games for you. It's going to be great. Today you're going to have a lot of fun, I'm sure, because there are some surprises coming up for you in just a second. But for now, I'm Twiggy. I'm going to be hosting you through the rest of the playoffs here, and I'm joined by MP today. How you doing, buddy? Oh. You might have to reload the page. Either way, yes, exciting games coming up for you today. We're going to be starting off with Enterprise Gaming versus Bitfix Gaming. That will be Enterprise Esports versus Bitfix Gaming. Everybody has a different word at the end of their thing. Are you back? You're back.
Yes,
welcome back. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Like I said, you couldn't hear it, but it's going to be exciting today. It's going to be really, really good game today. I think it was exciting already yesterday, but today it's going to be something else.
Exactly. Let's take a look at the playoffs bracket so we can see what games we have remaining to get underway here. Obviously, as I said, we're in that upper bracket final here with Enterprise Esports versus Bitfix Gaming. That's going to be our only game for today. We'll go into that in just a second. But what we saw yesterday, it was Zero Tenacity versus Go Next Esports. Zero Tenacity won that game. They're going to be heading forward along with Pixel Lumina here. And their game is not going to be happening today. Their game is going to be delayed for a couple of days due to Easter, the holiday festivities, but we can talk about that in just a second. These are the teams that we're going to be seeing up today. Oh, this is what we saw yesterday. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. We're lost. We're all over the place. It's fine. You have no idea what happened for the last half an hour. It was great. Anyway, yes. Yeah, yesterday was an incredibly fun day, and a lot of surprises happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say both of the games were kind of upsetting upsets. Obviously, Go Next dropping out of the tournaments, not getting into challengers, EMEA, not getting into that top 4. I think it was a surprise. Sweet and Sour, same story. Pixel Lumina were just a completely better team. I was predicting both games to go the other way, so I'm wondering whether today is gonna be full of surprises. Is it gonna be Bitfix beating Enterprise? I think for some people that might not be a surprise because Bitfix has been showing really good gameplay. I think they have been really strong, but for me, Enterprise Esports, they are still the top dogs here. I think they are actually out of these 4 teams the one team to beat, I would say, because you have 3 champions competitors, you have 2 champions winners in that team, so a lot of experience. Sure, that's back in 2021. We are in 2025 right now, so they still have to claim that trophy again if they want to, I would say, keep this thing going, if they want to actually beat the top dogs. Enterprise Esports, they are still a great team.
Yeah, well, that's our upper bracket. Our lower bracket, if you came here to watch Zero Tenacity versus Pixel Lumina Gaming, that has been postponed. That's going to be happening off stream on Tuesday, unfortunately. The holiday is here. It is Easter, and sorry for the last minute announcement for that one, but it's fine. You'll be able to keep up with it on our socials. You'll be able to keep up with it on Twitter. You'll be able to see who won that game, and we'll keep you up to date as much as we possibly can. So you'll be in the loop, and we'll be able to see who gets eliminated and who's moving on to play the loser of our only game today. So, I mean, so much important stuff happening today. Obviously, whoever wins is going to be going straight to the grand finals. They're going to guarantee themselves an Ascension point. They're going to guarantee themselves at least 2nd seed coming out of Challengers Northeast. Enterprise Esports versus Bitfix Gaming. Yeah,
and talking about that Ascension point, I think Enterprise would really appreciate that one because Go Next dropped out. So if Enterprise would win this game against Bitfix Gaming, they would tie Go Next at 5 points, which would basically grant them 1st seed when they get to Challengers EMEA and play good there. But it's still a tough match. Bitfix, I think they came out of the mud. I wasn't expecting to see them even in this upper bracket, or upper Swiss rather. All of a sudden they have come with the waves. I think the Norwegian trio, the Russian duo there, it has been amazing to watch, and it's gonna be a banger today as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we talk about the amount of new teams that we've seen coming up, and obviously in the conversation as Pixel Lumina kind of just coming up from the lower Swiss, the same kind of conversation it has to happen for Bitfix Gaming, but we'll get to them in just a second. First, let's talk about our team that has actually been in a Challengers EMEA before. They were their last stage. They're the most consistent team in Northeast. Apparently, it is Enterprise Esports. They have a wealth of talent. We've seen what they can do over and over again. They only ended up 3rd seed out of the playoffs in Northeast last time around, losing out to Team Liquid Academy and Shakmat, now Konex Esports, who both of them have been eliminated at different stages in the tournament this stage. So, incredibly consistent performance. I think that counts for a lot more, especially when you're talking about Ascension points.
Yeah, absolutely. Enterprise Esports, this is such a strong roster with strong names. You obviously have the Polish trio on Yas, Stargate, Zeke, but then you have the duo of Kiles and Zeke, the champions winners. You have the experience of Doma from Fnatic, from different rosters after that as well. Amazing experience throughout this roster. Yes, I think one of the best performers throughout this whole league is following on the footsteps of Kajak as well, another Polish player that came from Polaris, was amazing. And I think Yas is gonna be one of those next bigger names in this roster that is gonna pop off. But then you have the experience around him, which gives him even more of that lift.
Yeah, and you were talking about Bitfix Gaming earlier on. We can introduce them to you because, again, as you kind of said, they came out of the mud. They kind of came out of nowhere. Again, this is another team that came from the lower Swiss stage all the way through to this stage. And they haven't dropped a game in the playoffs so far. They have got their way all the way to the upper bracket finals without dropping a single series here. It's been kind of insane to watch. And there are some maps for them that are ridiculous. Like, this is the best team at Lotus on paper in the world right now.
Yeah, and it's incredible what they have done in Lotus. We'll get to see that a little bit later on when I kind of demonstrate the strengths of the compositions as well. But this roster is insane. We talk about the champions 2021 quite a lot. Kile, Seek, Doma, obviously. These players, we have players like Razis, Lamelli, who were like 13, 14 back in 2021, while these other players were competing in the champions, but they are still incredible aimers, really talented players as well. And then you have Syntix, Martux, you have the Norwegian trio, like I said, and the Russian duo as well. I think it's been incredible following this team, because whereas I think Enterprise Esports, they kind of have a struggle in terms of composition. They're kind of looking for their identity. They are kind of switching up composition constantly in few of these maps. I think Bitfix Gaming, they are opposite of that. They are really heavily on their own composition. They like to make their own compositions as well, which I really appreciate from a young team or young players like Bitfix Gaming.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, when you look at a team with younger players, you kind of expect there to be less of that playbook, less kind of scrapbook stuff going on. Whereas I think Bitfix Gaming are the complete opposite of that. It's an incredibly drilled team. We can talk, I mean, as much as we want to about that Lotus composition. 3 Sentinels is such an odd kind of composition that I've seen a lot of people really high up, like head coaches from very high up in VCT praising. So, you know, it's obviously making waves. These guys are making names for themselves. That's exactly what you want to be doing here in this tier 2 stage.
Yeah, but I want to highlight one player from each of these teams. Obviously, Jazz on the other side, Razis on the other side. Two of these duelists, obviously a different kind of duelist. Razis, you know, is playing that Sage in the Lotus. You see Yas already picking up that Waylay in a map. You see Neon as well. Yas is a really strong player in those clutches. He hasn't been in too many clutches, but still 50%. Whenever he gets into a clutch, that's a good, solid round chance for Yas. Amazing ACS. Both of these players are on the top of this league. They're absolutely dominating. And the first blood percentage is insane as well. That's exactly what you're looking for your duelist. You need to have that performance. And I think the headshot percentage is really good as well, especially when these players pick up the operator from time to time as well.
Yeah, for sure. You can see the quality going on there and the consistency as well. You're staying above a 250 ACS on average over the course of a whole stage. That's really, really important for your team when you're picking up first bloods. And as you say, not getting into a lot of clutches. Obviously, you know, you're going to be taking the first fight most of the time as a duelist, so it's not surprising that they're not taking many clutches. But being able to bring out, you know, the same performance at the end of a round that you would at the start of the round, I think is such an important thing for a duelist. But we want to go back a little bit to that Bitfix conversation, right? This is a bit of an anomaly in kind of competitive Valorant as a whole. This is their Lotus composition. It's a bit weird. It's a little bit weird. I think we can put it that way.
You see the 2-0 record there. That's from the playoffs. But if we take the whole year, they are 11-0. They haven't lost a single Lotus with this composition. It's incredible. This is a comp that is, I would say, probably designed for them. They are like, okay, we like these agents, we like how they run, we like the triple sentinel here, let's just run with this. A lot of teams, they like to run the Teho, they want to include a breach here, they maybe want Yoru, Raze, some kind of duelist here, but they decided, okay, Sage is good. We don't need a dive here. We can just go and aim. And I think it's brilliant. And I want to highlight to you how or what are the strengths here in this composition. I think we saw that in the match against Go Next. There are a lot of stuff that you don't like to do against this composition because the Sage is so strong, the Deadlock is so strong. And I think we have a Lotus map here at the show where I can kind of highlight you where the Sage is strong early round. This is one of the better parts for Sage. That instant slow orb can grant them access to C mount, because if enemy wants to fight that C mount, they cannot escape. You have to have like a Yoru or Omen that can go back all the way, but then you have Deadlock Gravnet as well. If you want to fight this C-mount, you have to fight it from forward, but if you do that, then you're susceptible to the Omen Paranoia, the Gravnet, the Fade Prowlers as well, so it's really hard to fight that. Then you have the Sage Wall. This is one of the most annoying angles on C when you're executing the site, but we see Razzies usually put up the Sage Wall here, not only to block that angle, but also play from the elevation as well, which grants them the access to C side. Then you have the lurk smoke from the Omen that they usually capitalize off of. They sometimes even play contact. And when you have that Sage Wall, a lot of the teams are like, okay, we don't really want to play here because the Sage Wall is gonna come. That grants them the lurk smoke even more value here. But also on the defensive side, it is really strong. The Sage, the slow orbs coming here on the rubble. It is impossible to follow up your Yoru, your Omens through that slow orb. And then you have Gravnets, you have Haunts, everything following up. I think if you want to exploit this Bitfix Lotus, it's gonna be from the C side, especially on the defensive side. Syntax usually plays really passively. The Cypher is usually here with the trips here and camera like somewhere around on C. So for Enterprise Esports, I think breaking up this Lotus would be heavily trying to go for that C side, trying to go exploit that Syntax, but still Bitfix are really good in adapting in those situations. They sometimes take the C mount control as well. It is a rough situation, but it's something that you have to be scared of. It's something that maybe Enterprise Esports are looking like, okay, we've been kind of banning like Icebox. We don't really like Pearl either as well. There's 2 bans. Are they gonna target ban that Lotus? I think that is gonna be a big question in terms of the map video as well.
Yeah, and I think you can talk for as long as you want to about, you know, oh, but, you know, they've only really played against, like, tier 3 teams on this map. Of course they have a really good win rate. That's absolutely fine. But it's still going to instill fear into teams as you keep winning more games. You know, they've got to this stage and they're still winning Lotus. It's not like it's stopped at any point. But apparently Enterprise Esports are not too intimidated by that one. They have not banned it out, so it is available for Bitfix Gaming to try and keep that win rate on. But they don't try and go for that. They're going to float it. Go for Ascent.
Fair enough. We've seen this from Bitfix before. They have floated the Lotus because a lot of teams are comfortable with floating Lotus as decider.
They really don't want to ruin that win rate, bro.
Yeah, maybe they're like, okay, we want to go into Ascent, which is fine because it's really great map for them as well. I really love how Martux is so comfortable in almost every map playing that Deadlock. He's one of those players. He's actually the only player that is playing Deadlock in this tournament apart from Ascent. A lot of teams are obviously picking up that Deadlock in Ascent. Oh, Icebox. I mean, this is interesting because Enterprise Esports, they haven't played a single Icebox this year. Not a single one. That has been their ban as well, apart from Pearl. So I think this speaks volumes that they're kind of scared of the Lotus.
Yeah.
That they want to go into Icebox. Wow.
Yeah, definitely some amount of, maybe not intimidation, but just not wanting to risk that going into Lotus. You know, it could be a fluke that they won 11 games in a row, but it could also be that they're just really insanely good at it. We don't want to risk that. That's fair enough. You know, it's a seeding game, but it is an important game nonetheless. They don't want to be losing any unnecessary maps, and you don't want to head to a map 3 on a 100% win rate map for your opponent. Not a great idea. That is basically a home pick for them. But yeah, Bitfix Gaming, they've already shown are comfortable on Ascent as well.
Yeah, of course, and I do really love how they decided from, well, there are multiple maps of comfort. Okay, we want to go into Ascent. I mean, they are really good, and like I said previously, what I love about Bitfix compared to Enterprise Esports, it seems like they have their own identity. It seems like they found that. Enterprise Esports, they're usually switching things up. Ascent is one of those maps that they don't switch too much. Obviously, they improved in their composition, in my opinion, improved. They picked up the Waylay instead of the Jet now in the new meta. I think that's a good pickup. They're running like KO Teho, which is really solid here. Omen, obviously, something that you probably I would say most likely need to run in Ascent. That is one of those agents that you need to have in this map. I don't think Astra, Brimstone, other smokers are that good. Almost one of the key parts of that whole composition, whole map. It's going to be interesting to see how they can actually fare up against this Deadlock Yoru composition, because Deadlock is a really strong agent in this map. Obviously, I think Bitfix, they have, in terms of having that core of Omen, Sova, and Cypher, they have an older composition, but they have newer parts in that composition as well in terms of Yoru and Deadlock. Yeah,
it feels like you're kind of swapping out components of it. You know, you're upgrading your PC instead of completely revamping the whole thing with the new, what seems like the new meta for Ascent, which is obviously that Waylay with the Vice, with the Teo, and all of that. So, I'm interested to see how those two come up against each other on that one. It's not going to be a mirror comp like the last time we saw Ascent yesterday. It's going to be something completely different. But I think that is, I think on level terms, Enterprise Esports does just have the firepower to win these things. So I think Bitfix Gaming have the right idea in terms of having that kind of deeper strat book, thinking more about their composition, thinking more about the way they're doing things. Obviously, they are, that kind of team. You would not see a Lotus comp like that without some, I don't know, a board meeting where you're going, okay, guys, maybe, considering the day today, maybe they, they were like, okay, it's time to come up with something interesting.
Yeah, but then again, you have Quicks and Razzies who are topping the leaderboards pretty much on the side of Bitfix Gaming. They are insane aimers. Obviously, this Russian duo, like I said, I love how they've been playing throughout this tournament. But like I said, again, Marthux, I think he's one of the best players. I feel like he's really comfortable with that Deadlock. We saw that against Go Next, especially in the Lotus, but the Ascent, I think Marthux was one of the better players throughout the whole series. And that final round, I'm pretty sure it was in Lotus, Marthux was key player in that. I think he took the 3k instantly there. And even though you have this young duo aimers, but then you have some other layers to fall back on as well if you needed to. So obviously, we talk about Enterprise having a lot of experience, a lot of aim potential, but I still do think Bitfix might actually be up ahead of Enterprise Esports in terms of that mechanical skill.
Yeah, I mean, their map pool is obviously quite intimidating as well. A lot of the maps that other teams like playing, they are very proficient at, which kind of locks off a lot of, Enterprise Esports. One of their mainstays is Lotus. They played it so often recently that it's not surprising that, it would be part of... They didn't want to ban it first, right? They didn't want to go, okay, we don't want to play it whatsoever. If they pick it, then we'll play it. But they did, in the end, go, you know what, maybe not a great idea in the veto. So there's a certain amount of intimidation tactics going on. But I like that. I like the mind games going on from Bitfix Gaming. I like that they've got such an interesting background, such an interesting history coming up from, the tier 3 kind of lower Swiss stage coming into this, that there is so much for Enterprise Esports to look at that it makes it a little more, sometimes you come up against a team and you're like, we have no VODs to review, this is a completely it's just a good team, we're just going to have to hope it's in the server. But for the case of Bitfix Gaming and in some senses Pixel Lumina as well, there's so much stuff that you get indecision paralysis. You look at it and you go, oh, there's so many great performances, we kind of have to hope that nothing's going to go wrong. My camera is completely broken. I might reload that in just a second, but I don't know what's happened.
Well, I think it's brilliant to talk about Bitfix even more. Like, they had a great duelist before Razzies was actually on the team. Aura was their duelist, and I think it talks about their scouting process on what kind of people they can find in their roster, because Aura, if you don't know who Aura is, then you're crazy, but he just got picked up by a Giant X. It was in UCAM as well before that. So they definitely have that potential of fighting really solid players, and that's why they are here. I think we talk about the Ascent quite a lot, but obviously the second map, the pick of Enterprise Esports, is going to be Haven. when we talk about or when I talked about the identity of Enterprise Esports and them not quite having that, I think Haven is one of those maps that they actually have their identity. They know exactly what composition they're gonna play. They know exactly what is strong here. They played that one composition throughout this whole year, 9 times that they played in Haven. It's the classical. You could see this from 2021. Obviously, this team is who is gonna run this: Breach, Sova, Omen, Jet, Cypher. On the other side of Bitfix Gaming, you have a completely new composition. Other than Omen, these all are new agents. It's Yoru, Vice, Teo, Deadlock, and Omen. It's a complete different composition. Full utility, but different kind of utility compared to like Breach and a Sova. You don't have that much detailed information in terms of having that Deho. Obviously, Deho has the drone as well, but you don't have a recon that Sova has. So a lot of the times you have to rely on getting a lot of space on the map, which Haven is usually known for. You have to take that A lobby control. A lot of these teams will fight for that. And Bitfix Gaming, they have one of the strongest compositions to fight that. You would think maybe Breach is really good there. Yeah, it is. Sova is really good to fight that A lobby control. But then you have Deadlock, Gravnet, and Teho, Salvos. What is stronger than that? I don't think there is too many stronger agent compositions for that A lobby control fight, and I think if Bitfix wants to go for that, it's there to take. But then it's really hard for Enterprise Esports to actually rotate from that information, because you have Vice on the other side who can delay as long as your team needs. So it is a rough composition to fight against.
Yeah, no, it does sound that way. And you know what? You were so invested in that. We were going to throw to a short break because we were waiting for the players to get ready. We're not going to do that anymore. You actually genuinely had the most passionate speech there that we are going to keep going because we're actually probably going to fix the issue in time to get into Agent Select quickly, although I might reload my page so that I stop doing this, in which case you're going to have to yap a little more. I'm going to do this now. Oh no, okay, never mind. We're going to throw to a break because there's more technical issues. We've only got one best of 3 today, so obviously we're going to have as many technical issues as we can to delay the game and the day as much as possible. We'll be right back, guys. We'll see you very shortly. Yahoo!
Been on it, drum on the rail. I wrap it, I bag it, I pack it for sale. Got feeling on speed out, hit me to chill. I give it a thrill, I put it on film. Just I get a plot, that ain't real. Come to my section and flex, we can tell. I gotta show it, she dipping them nails. I'm flipping my L's, I know they can tell. I did it too major, they hit me for favors. Been him since the cable was cut in the cradle. What's up, only right that I do it. Colossal until I'm a boss, so they want me to fail. Look, we prevail. Jump on your tail. Know that they talking, they telling them tales. Just know how to tell, that for the sale. Hey, they talk like they got it, but they need to stop it. I'm leading with logic, my heartbeat is frosted. I seen it, got optics I needed from Shawty. She mean with the top and it's obvious. They need him a target, I'm dodging their darts, make them reach for the stars. I'm dumping, I'm forcing the pun off the runs. I'm moving with caution, I'm saucing my nigga is nothing. From nothing to something they'll never be. Tycooning, I'm Dre with the thizzle face. I'm nothing my section has ever seen. Run the ice so I'm clutch, I don't need a screen. I'm Curry, I spit it from 30 deep. Do the pin in the pad like it's surgery. She the curve at you just to flirt with me. Totally tucked off, but the jewels out. I just in a home with a full mouth. I'm a rare breed when the moon out. I'ma stop playing by the rules now. I been ran plays, need a new route. Queen said she needs space in a new house. Mom told me that she pray for the kid every day. No wonder I'm getting paid for the tunes now. It ain't ass, bitch, I'm on the rail. I wrap it, I bag it, I pack it for sale. Got feeling on speed out, I hit me to chill. I give it a thrill, I put it on film. This facade get a plot, that ain't real. Come to my section and flex, we can tell. Really outside with it. Run with it. Run with it. Run with it.
I know we only met just now, and I don't wanna freak you out, no. But baby, all I think about is you and me up in a tree, yeah. You whisper something in my ear, the only thing I wanna hear. Oh, you tell me that you think about us, K-I-S-S-I-N-G, yeah. I go and pay at the bar, you go and order a car. I might not give you my heart, but you can have the rest of me. Don't think twice, baby, sit tight, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe. Don't be shy, stay the whole night, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe, yeah. Your skin feels like the finest sheets, your lips are what I thought they'd be. Oh, I'm dreaming but I'm not asleep. It's you and me up in a tree, yeah. I'll do whatever you want, it's on the tip of your tongue. I might not give you my heart, but you can have the rest of me. Don't think twice, baby, sit tight, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe. Don't be shy, stay the whole night, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe, yeah. See the fireplace is good to go. Hear the love songs on the radio. All I wanted was to take you home, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe, yeah. I'll do whatever you want, it's on the tip of your tongue. I might not give you my heart, but you can have the rest of me. Don't think twice, baby, sit tight, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe. Don't be shy, stay the whole night, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe, yeah. See the fireplace is good to go. Hear the love songs on the radio. All I wanted was to take you home, 'cause we gotta kill a vibe, yeah.
Out here on the street.
All right, everybody, thank you for bearing with us on that one. We have Agent Select ready for you. Absolutely no surprises. You know, it's not like they were coming up with a new composition while we were waiting for them there. They were just getting into the lobby and picking the same agents they do all the time. So no surprises here for Enterprise or Bitfix. These are their standard compositions.
Yeah, Enterprise, they have only played as Ascent twice this year, but obviously you have legends in this roster who have played this for, what, 5 years, so they definitely know how to run this. I think we're probably gonna see a classic Vision Striker strat today from Enterprise. That is something that is given almost in every Ascent that we see. With this composition, you can run it, I think, even better than you could last time. I think it's gonna be a crazy matchup.
It should absolutely be a crazy matchup. We're about ready to get going. It's time for our first game of the day, and our only game of the day, in fact. Enterprise Esports versus Bitfix Gaming for a spot in the grand finals here. This should be incredibly fun. And you know what's even more fun is our caster setup today, because I'm going to introduce you now to Hazza and Twiggy. Maybe. I don't know. B, no! Oh,
hello, Twiggy.
Hi, Hazza. How's it going?
Isn't this an Easter egg? Yeah, Caro had a couple of issues. The tech issues plaguing everyone, it seems. So we're going to be running it back and taking you through this first map.
Yeah, this should be incredibly fun. We've never casted together, so this should be a good one. As far as I'm aware,
no, that's true.
I've casted with Cairo before, like 3 years ago, but not you.
Yeah, and I casted with Moxie. She was my first duo on Polaris, and that used to be your duo. So, you know, everything swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
It's cyclical. And we are here in map number 1, Ascent, between Bitfix and Enterprise. Well, it is Bitfix's pick. The only loss that they've registered so far was against the exact same comp that Enterprise are playing. So, in terms of this being a stylistic clash, interested to see how they play it.
Yeah, it is, and you do start to see this composition from Enterprise more and more often now. It has its definite benefits. It's a very modern comp. It's got all of the, you know, the bells and whistles that you expect from all of these agents.
It's got all 3 of the new agents as well, right? Talking about the release cycle. One of those already shown off by Yash as he has refracted back towards Arch after having a little bit of a look in mid. But no players yet spotted as Bitfix are now grouping up for the A hit.
Yeah. Really tentative about this one. A lot of respect being shown from both of these teams, it seems like. Enterprise Esports don't want to get too aggressive either, though Starkey has pushed up into the smoke here in short, and Razis might just walk straight into that one. Oh, but he gets the shot off first.
Yeah, it's a good trade. There's still only 1 player for Enterprise here towards A short, though. And now you start to test those defensive protocols and how they want to play this. It seems like the door's going to get closed. Instead, Zeke is happy to drop back onto a deeper line, and they bunker themselves up in the backside as Yash continues to try and plow forwards. It's Quicks that's going to find the opening kill to put them up by a man advantage right now, and the ball keeps rolling. Quicks with another. Still bodies on the site here to try and defend this. Killers and Doma combining, but now only the Ukrainian left in a 1 versus 2. Spike drop towards short. This one has to be recollected, and with 20 seconds... it's a chance for him to jump in here. Already info on one of the players, but Razis has his hat-trick, and Bitfix have found their pistol.
It did really feel like Doma had to do half of the work there on the site. Bitfix Gaming are just hitting their shots right now. They obviously had a warm-up. They've had their Easter bunnies this morning. I don't know if Enterprise Esports quite have yet.
Yeah, man.
Is yours still intact?
Yes, there are 2 of them behind me, actually. So they're quite happy right now. I don't want to interrupt the couple as rabbits do what rabbits do. But,
okay, wow.
You know.
Yeah, you're going to have 20 in a second.
In terms of this round, though, yeah, I mean, it's just Enterprise on pistols. I think it's a nice moment to sort of talk about this team in general. I mean, you and I had gone back and forth sort of from the desk to the commentary desk about how they feel like the best contender that we have right now, whereas Bitfix, I mean, an EMEA event is great. Can you build on from that? Because Enterprise certainly have from the first stage.
Yeah, exactly. The only team from this region that have, it seems like, 2 teams going out in the Swiss, now 1 out in the playoffs with GoNext Esports. It's a constantly changing scene. I don't know whether it's a good or bad thing yet, you know? We'll take a look when we get to Challengers EMEA, because every time we have the first, you know, international event, we're always like, oh, we have no idea how the regions stack up against each other. And now, again, we have no idea because we don't have any of the same teams apart from Enterprise Esports.
I know what you mean, right? And I think that state of flux certainly favors the teams that are getting stronger by the end of the year. Enterprise hoping to be one of those. In terms of this round, I mean, Bitfix have been held at arm's length. The suppression coming in had stopped the initial push. But when the floodgates open, looks like things seem to be under control. Just Doma and Killes now remaining. The former with a Sheriff in his hands, but smoked off through short. That one now fading, just looking for a window to deal some damage. It's not going to come through. Bitfix brought a couple of pistols into this round, so damage control seems to be working out. It's a healthy bonus that's coming up for them.
Yeah, as long as they keep that Vandal, they'll be quite happy. So as long as 1 player survives, all good. But that's a very successful round for them. And then move on forward, and they're looking strong. Like, just look, obviously we haven't seen any Stratbook stuff come out yet, but the aim has been good so far. There are a couple of missed shots there with the Bulldog, but apart from that, things are looking really good for them. They're tapping heads, and against a team like Enterprise, I think that's something you need to bring out. You know, you can have as deep a Stratbook as you want. You can have as many, you know, interesting compositions as you want to bring out, but if you're not hitting your shots against a team like Enterprise with so much squad depth, so much experience, you're not going to win a game.
And like I said, while Bitfix beat Sweet and Sour in the best of 1 in the Swiss stage, I think into the best of 3s, that game against GoNext definitely showed a change for them. It was an 8-4 attack half, and now into the gun round, they'll be looking to try and build on this 2-round lead. Razis already clearing out the B main space, with the fake out going through and the Vice wall tripped, and it's still looking at the map, Lamelli and Syntix elsewhere. You don't think they're going to commit just yet, but that pick onto Yash, sorry, food for thought.
Yeah, that might change things. The Razis kind of gives up the space. Just going to sit in that corner for now while his team continue to default. I mean, they don't have that weapon advantage anymore. They need to be playing as slow as possible just to make sure that they can carve out enough space to make their way in towards the site, get the spike down. That's the important part now. But there is a weapon to pick up if they get deep enough into sight now.
And looking to build off of that initial pick as well, knowing that the Vice utility is gone, the slate wiped clean. It's Zeke on the off angle, but quickly shut down by Quicks, of course. Who else? He's been on an absolute tear so far, side by side with Razis. And so this dynamic duo have put Killez against the wall. He's the last player left to hold on to the B site, and with the barrier mesh dropped, those rotations can't flood in to support him. Lamelli with a quick trade, and it's Doma and Starkey shot out in spawn.
These are really good trades. It's just good Valorant right now from Bitfix Gaming. You can't fault anything so far from this round. And now post-plant 3v2, you can't really favor them any more than you can.
It's the strength of the double
paper.
Sentinel as well. The sonic sensors, as you can see, as soon as Starkey steps in, he's stunned up and forced to fall back. Now thinking about a save in this 1 versus 3. And Bitfix on to convert the bonus on the attack side for the second consecutive time that they've played this map. I alluded to that win against Go Next, where things were looking a lot better for them on the offensive half. They won 4 rounds in a row there, and they are queued up for another here.
Yeah, that is not just a strong start to the game. That is, I don't know, inoperable. But Bitfix Gaming just didn't give Enterprise even an opening into that one. They got the first pick, and from there it was just 1 by 1. You take trades in a 5v4, you're gonna win.
Absolutely. And I think something else as well, which would be good to mention here, is that Bitfix are coming right off the back of an appearance on LAN, at least for the core of this team. You look at Lamelli, Syntix, and Martux, all of them at the Gathering in Norway. They did end up finishing second place in what was a 5-map thriller, albeit with some subs, so still Quicks and Razis feeling fresh, and I think that is reflected in their performances so far. Into this round with just the pistols, we've seen the rotate come through from Enterprise. Their reads have been pretty decent on Bitfix so far.
You know, just running in, making space. It's working out so far. Obviously, they know they're playing against Sheriffs. Can't get too comfortable in that situation, but Enterprise are giving them the space that they need to get the spike down, and going for a retake in this situation is just not going to be fun whatsoever. You're going to be walking straight into the firing range.
I mean, I was wondering if Razis was doing kung fu or something, and he had his, fist pulled back, ready to throw the flash on contact. And well, when it comes in, Enterprise actually starting to find some kills. It is a 3-on-3, at least it was. Quicks, ever the equalizer, leaves only Doma left, and while he's 1 kill deep into this attempt, there are 2 more players in the hell ready to bring him down. Syntix with a triple, and that will be Bitfix's 4th before the next gun round.
Yeah, unfortunately for Enterprise, while that is a good round, it would have been much better earlier on. Obviously, they've built up that economy. You can see Lamelli was almost on full economy at the end of that round, although he still opts for the recharge shield.
I don't know what it is about this recharge shield, Twiggy. People picking it here and there. You rarely see the value, but I mean, what's an extra 200 credits, I suppose?
And with ultimates, I mean, Enterprise have a few coming up, but the cycling is looking good now for Bitfix Gaming. They've got all the situation that they want to be in. In fact, they're just going to expend that Hunter's Fury immediately.
This is a shot in the dark. I mean, when you have an ult like that, I think it's very difficult to play post-plant with the Sova ult on Ascent in terms of how the mains are set up sort of tangentially to the site. So I like the idea. It's not quite paid off, but Yash is down, and they're without the Waylay ult. In fact, Killez is looking very light on his feet in this position. He is the only player with a red shirt that can possibly stand between Bitfix and this B site. No utility to help him in this endeavor either. Pinned to the corner, how many can he find? Martuk's first player in, and it's a quick trade, and so with that, the B site's open.
Yeah, it'll be good enough, but with every trade, Bitfix Gaming increase their likelihood of just extending that lead even further. Now, 4 to start off with is already a pretty hard blow for a team. You make that 5, it's looking really, really rough for Enterprise Esports getting started. Obviously, this is Bitfix Gaming's map pick. We know they're comfortable on Ascent. It's not the end of the world for Enterprise. We know that they have the quality to bring things back on Haven at the very least, but we don't know how they play on Icebox yet.
No, we don't. Focusing on the B site here, it's the Annihilation that goes into clear Boathouse, but there's nobody there. In fact, Lamelli is knocking at the back door. That's the first of the kills picked up. And now, Enterprise have to be cautious in how they clear this. They're worried about 2 angles at once, and so Bitfix put them both together, put a bow on the round, and that will be a 5th unanswered.
Surely we're going to get a timeout here at some point from Enterprise Esports. It is running away from them. I can't even think of a word to describe how insanely quickly this is going out of their hands here. Enterprise are just not winning anything, you know, like they don't get the first kills. They don't manage to get anything without a trade against them.
Sure.
Something needs to be come up with here, surely.
Yeah, there aren't really many win conditions right now that you can look at, as you say, stable ones at that. When you consider what Enterprise's game plan has been in previous weeks, and even speaking to Lagia in the post-match interview, he said, you know, we don't prep heavy for teams, we focus on our own game.
Yeah.
And up against a comp with this kind of nuance, you've got to be thinking about how you want to try and counter it and what your own strengths are. Yes, we've got a couple of ultimates here for Enterprise, but you need to find yourself in a position to use them. And already trading information in both mains, Killers is playing quite aggressive on B again.
I think this comp really speaks to how comfortable Bitfix Gaming look on Sentinels in general. Obviously, we talked about the Lotus composition with 3 of them. But even on this one, you know, you've got the Cypher, you've got the Deadlock, and you can see how comfortable they are with that utility.
Just happy to play park the bus on both attack and defense, right? Let Enterprise make the first mistake, don't sweat it, especially in a game such as this with a grand final spot on the line. Smartuk's cutting through the middle right now. The Saturate just missing him, so not hindered at all in how Bitfix choose to approach the B site. It's another very late execute. You're down to the final 20 seconds, but they can set up with that utility, and there's no second layer to this defensive retake.
Yeah, Ash having to break the wall even to get in towards site. Like, just keep him away.
Pushing the boulder up the hill.
Well, Razis is doing a bit of bodyguarding on site now, but it's just a straight... I mean, we saw this again in round 3. They have to try and retake this one with pistols. They got a few kills. It didn't work out in the end for them, and it's just a spray down from Bitfix Gaming. Yash gets 1. What more can you say? I mean, it's just not possible to get in towards that site like that.
Exactly. I mean, I like the idea from Starkey at the very least to lay down some covering smoke and allow that flood out from spawn, and I think those are the kind of ideas that Enterprise probably need to be promoting. I would like to see them take bigger gambles in the late round when, you know, they don't have that information. I mean, to be honest, that stems back even further. In terms of what the mid-rounding looks like for this side, you have Doma's drone, you've got Zeke's refreshable, you know, 0-point knife for the suppression, and Killers also has the Arc Rose, and right now it looks like he is just playing it as a defensive tool as he is soloing B on a number of these rounds, but these are the tools you've got to be playing to if you actually want to set up to defend the site when Bitfix come through in the late round.
Yeah, Starkey's going to have to expend a little bit of utility to make sure he's not going to get caught out here or bodyguard his teammate at the very least. No kill coming through for the Deadlock out there. And Bitfix Gaming finally take a first death.
That's a big pick from Yash. Operator coming out for him. And with the cage across, would have had a chance at a second go there. Instead, Martux disrespects the A main smoke, skips across, finds the shot. That's Zeke gone. No null command into a potential retake or site defense is a huge tool to lose, especially against all this Sentinel utility. And well, the second shock lands to the side of Dice. The first already found Doma. Bitfix calling a late round rotation. Now this is where Yash's positioning is absolutely huge, but he needs the shot, and he's going to find it.
Yeah, he gets away as well. That Waylay utility so good with the operator. I mean, we know
30
how
seconds
good
left.
Yash is when he gets an operator in his hands. How many times have we seen a map turned around by that weapon in that man's hand? But Bitfix Gaming is still just going to try and make their way onto site, just as they have every round before. This time, it is looking like it might just be an Enterprise Esports opportunity.
Woohoo! What a sound sensor from Martux. Place top gen, it's going to trigger through the wall. Yash sidestepping it before it activates this time. And a 1 versus 2 required of the pole to put Enterprise on the board, but still yet to register a round. That is 7 in a row now from Bitfix, and still no timeout.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking from Enterprise. Oh, well, there you go.
There you
That's
go.
heartbreaking from Enterprise. The amount they invested in that round as well, with the Ash getting so many important picks, it still just doesn't work. The retake is not happening for them no matter what. They let that spike go down, it's over.
And when we speak about playing these Sentinels as well, you see it there on the replay. This is Martux understanding completely the kit that Deadlock has. The fact that those sound sensors, the audible range that they have also tracks through walls. So the placement there, it catches anyone playing for the retake. And again, I will stress the importance of stopping Bitfix from making that site execute happening and wanting to try and, you know, maybe take a few more risks, which we saw Yash do. I think even that kill onto Syntix in the mid-round was absolutely huge because it cut off the possibility of the B rotation, which Bitfix were thinking about. Those are the kind of plays that you've got to be making, especially against a team such as this when Enterprise are supposed to be our regional leaders right now.
Yeah, I mean, really not looking that way at the moment. We're moving into a technical pause now as well. But, I mean, Enterprise could use all the time they have, even if they're not allowed to discuss anything about it. At the very least, they can just have a moment to decompress, right? 7 rounds in a row is difficult for the best of teams. And for Enterprise Esports now, I mean, it's just rough. Right, are there a massive amount of stakes? No, look, it's 1 ascension point at the moment and a spot in you know, the top 2 as it stands. They've already got their spot in Challengers EMEA. It's not the end of the world, but it's not a good look to be losing this handily to Bitfix Gaming at any stage in a competition.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what people want to see, right? We spoke a lot between Kyra and I about raising that bar, you know, setting it up for yourself. I think we've seen this a lot throughout different parts of the ecosystem. Best example I can think of is when Lupetti Buffon and Vamonos, a little history lesson here, I'm sure you'll enjoy this, got promoted to Polaris in 2023. That was a bit of a reset for our grassroots scene, and you kind of feel it the same way here. Without Apex, what are we looking towards? Into this round, it's a few rifles on Enterprise. The mid-Inquisition, I thought it was going to be a faster play. It isn't. Killer's actually having to use his own blind to get out of the net, but very deep positioning Yash, and this can threaten those 2 lurkers that we've seen towards A for a lot of these rounds. Oh no. Yeah, not today.
Ouch. Yeah, that is unfortunate. You know what? I was never very good at history, but somehow you make it a lot more interesting.
That was actually my degree, you know. I'm not saying it's been put to much use with my current line of work, but
I could say that's all ancient history now. He probably wouldn't like that very much.
No, he wouldn't. Well, it's all ancient history now.
Boy, we're not going to have the awkward silence.
Out. Here we go. Bitfix in control of yet another site hold, and with the setup there, this wasn't the best of rounds for Enterprise to have clawed one back, at least in terms of percentage chance, as Doma has found himself a caged animal
100
now,
years jail, bro.
and a stunned one, and a revealed one. Oh my god! No. Stop it! It's cruel!
He's got a family, man!
That's terrible.
Zeke. That's horrible.
It's like Harambe 2.
He didn't. Well,
and I'm not talking Requiem here either.
Yeah. What did Doma do to deserve that? You know, on the Harambe level, that's I don't know.
I know. Oh, I mean, good damage here from Zeke would be nice. It's 3 kills in the end as the Champions MVP falls to the Champions Vandal. That one feeling like ancient history itself now as Bitfix 8 rounds clear with 4 more left to play.
Oof, man. You take a look at these ones, and I would say I feel sorry for the analysts, but I am one. So yeah,
That's very true.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Telestrator MP comes up with at the very least. At the end of this, he might not be paying attention. Who knows?
Twiggy,
he's just gone.
I thought that leaving Berlin, I'd left behind these double sentinels, strong sides that we'd seen. I mean, it was Liquid doing it a lot. That's nice from Starkey to at least start the round off for them.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm the problem. Maybe it wasn't Cairo all along.
Right, yeah. No, Pansy and Hypoc have the tech pause curse. You have double sentinel.
The domination
curse. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Damn. Certain apps where you put that down.
For sure. Big takeaway from this round so far. Man. Yeah, Enterprise. They have the opening pick. You've got Zeke's ult coming into a potential retake. He's waiting in spawn to make his decision late round. Killer's still with all the utils set up on B, and as soon as he catches the shoulder blade of Syntix, he's dropping back. But still no moves made by this defense. They're just resting on their laurels here. Oh my god, Martux. What a shot onto Starkey. It is only Yash left for now. The null command comes in early. With 30 seconds left, where are Bitfix off to? B? They're going B with 20 seconds.
Yeah. They're leaving, all right.
No, they're
but they
not.
might get stopped
they are
here.
going A.
Oh my god, what is going on, man? They don't have time anymore.
They don't, and well, Lamelli is just swap places. Oh my god, in the swap we can't. No, not
You're
like
kidding.
this.
They got the
spike goes down, it's a 3v2, and all of a sudden, Bitfix! The bell tolls 9, and I have no idea how.
I don't understand, man. They can do whatever they want.
That's the worst Valorant round I've ever seen.
That's horrific. They changed their mind 5 times in the last 10 seconds.
It's the literal Midas touch. Oh, things go from bad to worse for Enterprise.
I don't believe it.
While it sounds here like we're frustrated at the situation, you want to celebrate the success of Bitfix, but it feels like it's coming at the cost of Enterprise every single time when they're in a great position.
We saw the first 6 rounds, we were like, damn, they're just playing well. This is just really good from Bitfix. And then you see a round like that where you shouldn't be winning it, and they still win it. And at that point, you have to call into question, is it Bitfix Gaming playing incredibly well, or is it Enterprise Gaming giving them rounds?
Well, they're going to need to find some of their own here sooner rather than later. Martux may have caught wind of this one late. Starkey, just the one. Still numbers with Bitfix, and they will continue to keep that ball rolling through Razis into the late stages of the round. I mean, if you're Enterprise here, I'm thinking, no, let's just gamble on a site because Bitfix might end up hitting it. They've got to go one way or the other, and chances are they don't even know where that is.
And then leave, yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, only 2 players remaining, both Bulldogs in hand. Yash might get a good timing on this one. He does turn around the corner just as Lamelli executes into B main here. At the very least, he knows the execute onto B is coming. They're going to be very confused as to why the site is completely empty, nobody anywhere near it.
30 seconds left.
I think Zeke was just seeing if he could land the knife, maybe bring the traps offline. That would have opened up the flank, but position given away. And Razis will simply sign on the dotted line for a 4K. Oh my lord, Razis. We are living in Bitfix's world right now, Twiggy. I mean, I said Apex were gone. Perhaps there's another Norwegian org to be looking at.
Yeah, they saw the amount of tech pauses happening.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my god. I don't know. I think Bitfix, again, they saw the amount of tech pauses happening before the game. The VPN had to be restarted for one of the players to get in, and then there was a tech pause in like round 6, and they were like, I want to get my Easter dinner going with my family, and they're just rolling them.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but maybe the festivities end on this map for Bitfix, as the Haven record isn't the best, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. The next gun round starts off just as you'd imagine, with a Bitfix opening kill. Raz is still running this Outlaw into a handful of light shielded opponents. untethered from the ultimate as the sound sensor goes back up and should be stunning further players from re-engaging. It's Yash finally unleashed on his opposition, but Martux is there to close up the round. And I mean, look, coming into this one, the ult cycle was definitely going to play a part, but Enterprise very much feel on their last legs.
Yeah, every time I thought something was happening there, it just wasn't. You know, Starkey missed a full clip as they entered on towards site. You could have seen one or two happening there, and then as they enter through in rafters, it's just a spray down from the side. It does feel almost like Enterprise Esports are a little bit checked out from this one. And why wouldn't you be, honestly? 10, 11 rounds in a row now, and it's just compounding on itself, you know?
Ooh, elevated position, Martux, no way was he gonna get away with more than just the one. Even that felt like a godsend. As Bitfix have a Midas touch. Oh, Syntix, it's so well read. He just positioned himself away from the Arc Crows. And now Yash is fighting up against two. It just feels hopeless right now. Killers is the saving grace as he's managed to find 3 kills on the round.
Hold on, guys. Enterprise Esports might get around.
But never say never. It's Lamelli here again. A player who has built his way up brick by brick. From Jamal Balls to Lamelli himself. New name, same guy. And that's the round. It is Killers that will claim one individual's brilliance. A champion's winner, no less, is what was required to get Enterprise on the board. But they've done it before halftime, and so we'll be going into the break 11-1. Welcome back to the second half of Ascent between Enterprise and Bitfix Gaming. We're in the upper bracket final and a chance to book yourself in the grand final on the line. Seems as if this one might be over fairly quickly though, pending a ridiculous attack side comeback from Enterprise. The side which they've been pretty weak on, but we've seen improvements. I think this is the biggest test that they're ever going to get.
Yeah, Enterprise might have to get a resale ticket on Ticketmaster at this point if they want to get into that grand final here. It's going to be way inflated prices, man.
Yeah, 700 euros. I mean, they're probably going to hope that they get the extra, like, Ascension points, prize pool, so they can bankroll that one.
Ticket, yeah.
But hey, A-Site is reduced entry, and Yash has got himself a concession. There you go, Quicks already off the board. Barrier Mesh still just keeping Zeke in main, but the rest have flooded out, and there's decent control.
Yeah, it's actually looking good for Enterprise Esports to get started here. Bitfix Gaming now going to have to fill in the shoes that they didn't really let Enterprise Esports get into in the first half. No retakes happening whatsoever. Yash has been hitting shots all game, so it's not surprising he gets a 3K there whatsoever. This is good, but there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah. And that sort of barely scratches the surface. It's a drop in the ocean right now, Twiggy, but we're hoping that this one can be kept competitive at the very least. That's what we're here for. Enterprise picking up the first of those rounds. And look, against this composition, I think one thing Bitfix does slightly lack to pair up with that net is utility damage. You still have Quix's shocks. But an area it's very good at fighting is for mid control. That's where they're going to go here, oh my lord. Yash immediately dispensing a Martux, though.
He swings into the triple high-low there, and that's not going to work out too well for him in the end. In fact, he doesn't... Oh, no, he does land one shot. That's fine, to the legs, but Starkey is going to enter on into A, and once again, map control super important for them. They have found that, but Spike seems to be going towards B, and that might end up with a couple of problems. This is not working out for him.
Starkey's just taken a 1 against the Sheriff. As much as I like the idea of him pushing the envelope there, Zeke is chasing Shadows as well. So it is actually a 3-on-3.
Yeah. The Spike is heading towards the area the Bitfix Gaming are more than ready to go for the retake at this point. I think they know kind of what's happening, even if they're a little confused as to why it's taking so long.
Quix has retrieved the rifle. Syntax there to support, just seeing maybe if a player could act as bait and they can follow it up. It's a missed molly, and surely this isn't the way that Bitfix land their 12th round. Zeke's already gone down, and now the numbers sit with the Norwegians again. Killer's wrapping around the side. The plant isn't for him either. They can hold this angle, and there's no hope in hell. The Vandal shots won't land. And that is map point. Bitfix drawing first blood in this series and sending themselves on that first step towards a grand final.
Yeah, that round really was just a microcosm of this whole map, wasn't it? That is, if you want to summarize what we've seen in the past 14 rounds in a good 30 seconds there, I think that would do it. It is really just the alley-oop being somehow thrown into your own net there. That is absolutely insane. And Bitfix, I mean, they will take it. Like, it's an open door for them. They're just going to walk on through.
And I think when you look at the leadership of Enterprise here as well, with Starkey making a lot of those pre-round calls, Killer's trying to control, or sorry, Zeke trying to control the pack mid-round. There's a few times we've seen the captain before go on a walk, get punished. I think that was sort of the story of their macro on Pearl in the first stage. And it's those little errors that become bigger issues here. Nice shot from Yash. That's one way to start off the round. No weapons yet recovered, and Martux just reinforcing this space, not allowing Enterprise to make the most of that first pick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you give Yash any weapon and he's going to hit headshots like that one, so you can't let him get away with too much. They don't let him get away with pretty much anything whatsoever. It is now just Keeles in a 1v3, and look, Bitfix Gaming are playing with their food at this point. He doesn't want to take that fight. They're being as respectful as you can be, I feel like. Not going for over peaks or anything like that, but, you know, it feels like a free win for them. They just need to reach out and take it.
People were surprised when they saw Bitfix take the win against our former grand finalists and go next the other day, and now they're looking to be putting their best foot forward with a 10-round lead, soon to be 11, and a map converted against Enterprise. The regional representative most of us were expecting. They have been usurped on Ascent 13-2 as the Norwegians have the first map in this series.
That was absolutely ridiculous. Bitfix Gaming, look, we can talk all day about, you know, the mistakes that Enterprise Esports may have made there, but Bitfix Gaming were on fire. They were hitting shots. They really weren't missing anything whatsoever. There's not much you could have done about it in the end. Even if Enterprise Esports were at the top of their game, I think that map was still going in Bitfix Gaming's favor.
Yeah, and maybe there was a window there for Enterprise to pick up a few rounds, kill some of that momentum at the very least, and feel better, dust themselves off, heading into Haven. And while the scoreline for that map, when you look at Bitfix, doesn't read too well, it is sort of a question now of what does your depth look like. I think that's always a huge thing going into those EMEA events as well, Twiggy.
All right, well, thank you, Hazza. I'm going to remove you once again. You're going to turn into MP, I think, so goodbye, sir. It's
I'm
been
fine
lovely.
with that, honestly.
Yeah.
I've accepted my
to be
fate.
fair, but I mean, both of you are absolutely incredibly attractive men, so it's just like a feast for the eyes, no matter what. Hi, MP, how are you doing, man?
I think I'm blushing here. Incredibly attractive. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, what was incredibly attractive was Bitfix's gameplay right there. Martux's confidence in that map, I think that painted the picture of how Bitfix Gaming played. Every time Martux had the possibility to go forward, go fight, he did. If you ever did see Martux's POV there, even when the Armageddon was behind him, tailing him, he was going forward. He was like, I have to fight this, and finding that pick was incredible. He was kind of playing that second duelist, in my opinion. Maybe sometimes even the first duelist, it felt like. Martux was finding many entries in that map as well.
I mean, it really was a linchpin for the team. Obviously, you know, you got Razes hitting shots left, right, and center. That was great, but he felt like more of just, you know, I mean, he's a duelist in the duelist role. He's just consistent. That's all that mattered there. Martux was the one making a lot of space a lot of the time, it felt like.
Yeah, and it's very easy to make that space with the grab net. And I loved how he always used to zone the enemy out with the grab net. If someone got caught on that, he would go forward, go fight that. Quicks dropping insane amount of kills as well there. What? 23 and 7. I think he kind of flew under the radar for me. I think it was like 15 kills when I saw him last time, but 23 at the end. Damn, incredible. Incredible utility as well. I think Quicks had a little bit easier time in terms of not having to shock those ciphers tripwires because there were none, but still incredible time for Quicks. And I mean, you can never understate the aim of this Russian duo, Razes, Quicks. They're incredible. And I'm gonna be honest, I think, like you said, you guys said Bitfix, they played great, but Enterprise, they had their struggles. They were missing shots. They didn't look really confident. I think aim was really shaky multiple times. There was possibilities where they could have found a kill, but all of a sudden Bitfix actually was first on that kill. I think Martux hit one hospital flick as well. Pretty sure he probably hurt his wrist there. I don't know.
Hopefully not.
Amazing performance from Bitfix. I wasn't expecting that, even though they beat Go Next in this map. I think it was 13-4 previously as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely brilliant. Look, I've done enough talking for the time being. How about you take a little time to yourself to tell a straight segment for me?
Yeah, I mean, I think this was a perfect summary of how you could never retake this A site if Bitfix got it. Let's play this. Let's look at Syntix. Tripwire, Heaven. That is impossible already to run through. But then there's another layer. Barrier mesh, shock darts, drone coming through. I think there was sonic sensor as well. Doma felt every power of this post plant, gets stunned, gets droned. Like, it is impossible to retake this, and Doma just dies because they spam him away. I think that is the comfortability of that composition. If you get that site with the double sentinel, you're never gonna get retaken on that site because you and like Hazza already said, the sonic sensors, they are so strong because they recognize the voice through the wall, and they stun you through that wall in Heaven. It's pretty impossible to break. But next it's gonna be Haven. I think it's gonna be really interesting because it's gonna be a stronger map for Enterprise.
Exactly, yes. Silver lining for them is they're moving on to their map pick next. This is a map that they haven't lost on for quite a little while. I'm just trying to scan through. Yeah, the last time they lost it was to BBL Pacific in BCL EMEA, right? And that was actually pretty close. Against a team like BBL Pacific, a 10-13 scoreline is solid. So this is a good map for them. I mean, there's no two ways about that. But the climb back now is going to be interesting, and they're going to have to play on Icebox to get there. And we don't really know what they look like on that map. So lots more to come. Hopefully it isn't going to be another 13-2 or something like that when we get back from the break.
been on it. Drum on the rail, I wrap it, I bag it, I pack it for sale. Got feeling on speed out, hit me to chill. I give it a thrill, I put it on film. Decide get applaud, that ain't real. Come to my section and flex, we can tell. I got a show and she dipping them nails. I'm flipping my L's, I know they can tell. I did it too major, they hit me for favors. Been him since the cable was cut in the cradle. What's up, only right that I do it. Colossal until I'm a boss, so they want me to fail. Look, we prevail. Jump on your tail. Know that they talking, they telling them tales. Just know how to tell that for the sale. Hey, they talk like they got it, but they need to stop it. I'm leading with logic, my heartbeat is frosted. I seen it, got optics I needed from Shawty. She mean with the top and it's obvious. They need him a target, I'm dodging in darts, make 'em reach for the stars. I'm dumping, I'm forcing the pun off the runs. I'm moving with caution, I'm saucing my nigga is nothing. From nothing to something they'll never be. Tycooning, I'm Dre with the thizzle face. I'm nothing my section has ever seen. Run the ice so I'm clutch, I don't need a screen. I'm Curry, I push it from 30 deep. Do the pin in the pad like a surgery. She been curving you just to flirt with me. Totally tucked out, but the jewels out. I just in a home with a full mouth. I'm a rare breed when the moon out. I'ma stop playing by the rules now. I been ran plays, need a new route. Queen said she needs space in a new house. Mom told me that she pray for the kid every day. No wonder I'm getting paid for the tunes now. It ain't ass, bitch, I'm on the rail. I wrap it, I bag it, I pack it for sale. Got feeling on speed out, I hit me to chill. I give it a thrill, I put it on film. This facade get applaud, that ain't real. Come to my section and flex, we can tell. Really outside with it. Run around with it. Run around with it. Run around with that.
everybody, welcome back to Valorant Challengers Northeast. I mean, if you're just joining us, the reason that, you know, it looks like there's been a full map, there has been, but it's not because the map was a normal length. The map was incredibly quickly. There's just been a few technical issues. That is why there was no countdown timer there for a second there. But we're ready to go to Haven, where hopefully Enterprise Esports have some semblance of an answer to what Bitfix Gaming had going on there on Ascent, because that was a little bit embarrassing. Or at the very least, it was so impressive that it made it look embarrassing for Enterprise Esports.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to take away from Bitfix. I think they look incredible and like amazing, and I think that was the thing what kind of set Enterprise Esports to be so shaky. Obviously now we're going to Haven, which is Enterprise's map, which is actually a really good map for Enterprise Esports. They've beaten multiple teams here. I think the most notable loss that they've had was against BBL Pacific, but they got 10 rounds in that match as well, which is great against BBL Pacific. But okay, Bitfix, I think this was already the point I made previously. Haven is one of those maps where Bitfix is kind of looking for their identity, and they have once again shaped it again. They're not playing that deadlock here. They want to go with the ISO. Martux picking up that ISO already plays into that second duels that I kind of talked about with that deadlock, which I do really like. But one of the roughest things with this composition is if you somehow kind of miss your momentum, you don't have a lot of stopping power in terms of utility. So you really have to heavily rely on that aim.
MP, I regret to inform you, it is your time once again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't want to say goodbye to you, but I have to. Hazza needs to join me for the cast. It's like there's not enough space on the door. I'm sorry, but we're gonna head over to the map now. So thank you, MP, for all of your contributions. And here we are. There we go.
Just taking a sip of the Polyjuice potion. It's still me, MP, but I'm gonna go ahead and cast this map with you, Twiggy.
Where did you get a lock of Hazza's hair or whatever? Actually, I don't want to know what part of Hazza you got. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Look, let's get straight into the map, right? If we're talking brass tacks, when it comes to Enterprise here, they have a brilliant record on this map. They're unbeaten, in fact, on every map other than Lotus and, well, now Ascent, of course. I've got to be looking at Yash here. We need to see some big first bloods from him. Impact untraded.
Yeah, I mean, last time we saw them here, I think if I remember correctly, against BBL Pacific, as they had a streak of bad rounds. It might not have been that game specifically, but one of the games they were playing on Haven, they had a streak of bad rounds. Yash picked up an operator, and it was back, you know, it was back on. The game was absolutely more in their hands. So it's something we see quite often from Yash, is when he gets a good weapon in his hands, he's able to absolutely change the tempo of the game. But we're really hoping to see it here. Obviously, it is all on the line now.
And with Bitfix double duelists already starting to prowl mid, they will be looking to brawl here, and well, it's a first death instead in the opening duel for Yash. Lamelli opening his account on this round. But already Bitfix have called a freeze. They are not looking to move off of this immediately. Reinvestigating the lobby space. You've still got Starkey aggressive and Doma playing off the shoulder.
It is not a good omen here for Enterprise Esports, but hopefully
no TPs either. So yes, Starkey's just caught in the corner. Where do you go? Nowhere. Martuk's still hanging around in mid. Of course, now on the ISO after playing pretty confident with the deadlock last map. He does get fully cleared, but Bitfix already making inroads all over the map. In fact, they got another pick A, but now they move towards C.
Yeah. That is going to be the end here as Lamelli moves all the way up long on this one. But again, for Enterprise Esports, look, it's just a pistol round. In the end, it's not like it's the exact same thing as last map, but it really could snowball into something bad for them. They need to be fully aware of that. As Razis is just going to get the trade, as Kilos has got one, but no more than that, and it is Doma in a 1v3. He did a lot of work in the pistol round at the start of Ascent, but maybe not this kind of level.
He needs a trilogy of kills out of the Ghost here. The stun is sidestepped by Quicks. And so Bitfix will win the attack pistol for the second map concurrent.
Yeah. Look, I'm not. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to be like. You know what? It's not the same. It's not the same as last map. It's fine. Enterprise Esports can make it happen. And I also don't want to be like, oh my god, it's happening. Bitfix Gaming are getting another 13-0.
For sure.
But it's difficult not to draw conclusions. It's difficult not to see patterns in the gameplay here.
I agree, and I think while we're at this point as well with Enterprise only having Doma dip into his pockets for a Sheriff, to kind of talk about what the landscape looks like from challengers to the wider scene of like VCT EMEA as well, and the overturn of players that you're seeing coming up now. We were just speaking about Ara previously on Bitfix, now finding his place on GX in VCT EMEA. It makes you think that, like, you know, players from Enterprise or even like some of these guys' careers, they haven't been to VCT since, you know, someone from Bitfix has. Like, someone would rather invest in a new talent than some of these guys who I think right now this Enterprise roster is almost like a career revival, you know?
Yeah, no, I do see that. But again, yeah, as you kind of mentioned, the thing is, you can't replicate the kind of performance that you have on this level. It's difficult as, I think, a VCT team to go, yeah, we want them back. You know, we want the likes of Doma, Killers, all of that back in our rosters. And I mean, just compounding upon that, the new guard of Bitfix Gaming continue to roll into sight completely confidently at this point.
Yeah, and I think especially for players like Killers and Doma, who are part of this retake attempt, one where Bitfix have the garage control with the Cypher Trap as well. Doma obviously a lot younger than Killers, but hasn't really been around Tier 1 since his time on Fnatic. I think that this is a perfect opportunity for him to demonstrate how much he's come on and matured as a player. He's getting, you know, a lot of praise from his teammates, Zeke especially, the most recent of these players to have made the step up when he was with Heretics in that first year of partnerships, to just sort of like co-sign and say, yeah, this guy could be ready when the chance comes back up. But as I was sort of saying, for someone like Killers, you wonder, if not now, then when? He had a couple of tries with Kase in previous years. Even that KPI roster last year looked deadly with Sayonara, but didn't even make it to main event. So it's worrying, especially if you can't beat, you know, your Bitfixers of the world.
Yeah, and look, a lot of the time we obviously we're focused on what's happening in this tournament, right? We're looking at, you know, the ascension points, we're looking at getting that seeding out of this one, we're getting to Challengers EMEA, but on a wider scale, the more holistic view for these players is we want to, you know, show scouts, we want to show people in VCT what we can do, so we can get signed by a team that already has that position.
Hey, they have that purchase power, you know? Mid-season, you can always make a pickup. Things have changed in that sense. But in terms of this round for Bitfix, we come into the gun round. Another opportunity for them to win a bonus. Starkey cornered on the C site, but pretty well supported by the vision blockers as he TPs up. He's in a great position to capitalize. But yet again, Bitfix have found a way through. It is 3-on-3, but in effect, Killers on his lonesome here. And a bounding Syntix is an easily traded one. 2-on-2, Spike going down. Zeke trying to close the gap in the meantime. As Lamelli and Quicks are both so focused on taking the garage space. Quicks now has the info. The crossfire set up, waiting for Zeke to walk into the crosshairs, and there they go. It's Bitfix again. A well-played, well-traded round.
Yeah, I mean, their fundamentals are on point. I kind of alluded to it at the first map, you know, but and then things got out of hand very quickly. It was difficult to really tell what was going on. But Bitfix Gaming, their fundamentals are on point. And the amount of trades happening in critical moments, it's really brilliant to look at. This is genuinely looking like such a well-drilled team. Obviously, you know, look, we just got the information that they just got out of a 5-hour car journey from their LAN, right? And they're still just, they feel good together, you know? And obviously there's some amount of team chemistry happening at this point. You can see it in the server.
Yash trying to build some confidence of his own. The Guardian is the one exception to the rule of sheriffs on Enterprise's side of the server right now. But as you say, it does certainly feel like Bitfix, on the day, they want it more. They're not just playing to the occasion. This, with both duelists on A, wondering if we were going to get a little bit of a fake. The dimensional drift is available, but as I lightly mentioned there's no reason to overplay it. You have a gun advantage. We know how good they are playing off of one another when it comes to the micro. So give yourself some favors in that bigger picture. It looks like that's what they're going to get as the 4 defenders push them out of the A side of the map.
Yeah, it's going to once again be a C hit. Bitfix finding a lot of comfort here on this site, and, well, to be fair to them, they haven't stepped a foot wrong here whatsoever, so the spike will go down, and this time 5v5, they can set up in any position they want to for the time being, although the crunch is coming in on Garage.
2 players swiftly into position. Zeke, huge shot to find, cuts off the cross, and now Enterprise are back in play. 2-man advantage as things stand, but Razis fires into the herd and cuts him down to size again. Quicks looking for the timing of the smoke. It's a flash to play him in instead. Clean kill. Quicks wants more. Oh my god, Quicks! 3 kills, and now on to Razis. 1 versus 1. He can't land a single shot, and so Killers saves the day and stops the rot. Enterprise get their first round, and well, this time it took a lot less to get there.
Know how to get by without money?
Well, okay. Look, was it the cleanest round in the world to get your first? No, not whatsoever, but that was good. The Garage Crunch was great. It was a good start to that retake, especially with the lower buy coming into it, and then obviously going back and forth, getting those trades was really important. Bitfix Gaming almost got their way back into this one, but it works out, and Enterprise Esports can build off of this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is a back-breaking round to win if you're Enterprise, and the first timeout off the back of it, I think also just kind of shows that Legia does want to take hold of the reins real quick, call this one in and say, actually, okay, this is what worked with the previous, this is what didn't. We have guns now, we can actually build up a little bit of economy if we can chain these together. And also, Bitfix have 3 very strong ultimates to work with, so there are things to be thinking about coming in here if you're the defense setting up.
For sure. I mean, Keeler, you can see on the kill feed here, Keeler is absolutely the linchpin right now in this defensive half, just holding down a lot of areas, and obviously the clutch potential too.
It's sort of as he was on Ascent, right? It was that 4K that picked up Enterprise's first round, and sometimes all you need is a moment like that. The difference was that was right at the end of the half. That was the first round to Bitfix's 11. Whereas here, we're 4 rounds in, you've just won an eco, and there is a lot more runway to work with. You're also against the attack side, you know, you're playing from the defense. No reason for Enterprise to start sweating just yet, but I think the timeout is well placed, as I said.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Yash to wake up as well. Obviously, we know he has the potential to go absolutely insane once he gets a good weapon in his hands as well. We haven't really seen anything just yet, but again, it is early doors. Bitfix Gaming trying to really wrest control of the momentum like they did in last map. Enterprise Esports not quite letting that happen just yet. Obviously, you can see we're in a technical pause at the moment. There are things going on. Look, again, the players just understand that, you know, after that last map, we need to fill some time somehow.
Of course. And to speak about Yash a little bit more while we have the time, I think if there was any talent that I believed was going to get picked up from the second tier over the last couple years or so, I mean, especially 2024, it would have been him. He was another product of Zero Tenacity and Org, which even this year is taking on board players like Pyroll, who are looking really good, and just showing that this league can be like the breeding grounds essentially for quality talent. And yeah, like Bitfix now with a huge opportunity, even going into that EMEA event, to show that, you know, they've got a bit of that as well, and that they're made of the same DNA.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at several teams in VCT right now. Obviously, you know, Northeast or North and East, as their respective ones back in the day, have a history of breeding players for... Oh, that sounded weird.
Excuse me? Yeah, this isn't Pokemon, but I understand
together
the sentiment.
Good players for VCT-capable teams.
Of course. But it's an opening pick for Enterprise, and an open sea site where Enterprise now starting to take up roost and improve their performances. It's a defuse happening behind the smoke, paranoia, reveal. Sense of urgency here for Bitfix. Need to try and deny the defuse. They can't. Enterprise reacting brilliantly to that round, especially with the open site, the fact that they're able to retain backside control, flood effectively, ticking a lot of boxes in my eyes.
Yeah, you know what? That was the first in this series so far, like, round that we saw out of Enterprise, right? They weren't fighting back against Bitfix and trying to just grab any kind of thread that they could pull on. That was actually, they had control of the round from second one and they made it work in their favor. This is good. The ult cycles, once again, still looking a bit scary from Bitfix, but now Enterprise have started to get their own ult cycles in effect.
Quick TP. Fast play into Killers. Only the shorty here. Oh, still both canisters land onto Martux. Breaks the ISO shield. This shot could be huge. It's not going to deal any further damage. And so this defensive protocol will be tested on the C defense, but Zeke finding another kill might just have set them up to win this round in its entirety.
Well, hello, Enterprise Esports. Good afternoon. We've been waiting for you. They have arrived on the server suddenly in this 4v3. Hunter's Fury very early on. It might actually do a little bit of damage. Not quite as Syntax tries to take control of CT. Lamelli firing some shots down as well. But Yash, there he is. He's woken up. And it is going to be Enterprise with their third round on the board. Suddenly we have a game and a series on our hands.
Yeah, it was a well-tempered retake from Enterprise. Again, prioritizing garage control where previously Bitfix had been allowed free roam. While the attack does a decent job at focusing its efforts towards defender spawn, especially after Zeke's Hunter's Fury comes in and buys a bit of a distraction for them, actually. That's sort of what they were thinking about, and it's well cleaned up by Enterprise. That's now 3 rounds consecutive, and all 3 retakes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Look, I've got to change my mindset completely now. We after that last map, it's really difficult to feel like this is a game, right? But now, Enterprise Esports are definitely fighting for it. You kind of got the impression that maybe they weren't taking this as seriously as they could have been, but something seems to have changed since that technical pause there.
Camera watching Yash's position. Recon just for good measure. He will disengage. Bitfix are setting up for the A execute though. Hunter's Fury cutting across sight lines. Yash going down and Starkey needing to hold the line. He's here supported by Doma, and between the two, they've usually done a pretty damn good job at keeping A under lock and key, but on this occasion, it comes down to the Sentinel walking back into enemy lines to make something happen. Killers guarded by the ISO wall. It's perfectly combined with the shock. There's just no way to rally back into this one solo. So perhaps better off saving here while there is still cash behind this defensive side. You've got to cut your losses at some point. And well, for Bitfix, that's a huge win. I mean, look at their money in the dumps.
Yeah, they did need that. But for Enterprise, yeah, I don't think for Kilos that is going to be too big of a deal. Obviously, probably still somewhat as we are in the mindset of, oh man, a save at this point. But it's a new map, it's a whole new map, and they've actually got themselves some economy. They've got themselves into a situation where losing a round is not the end of the world whatsoever. So it's not too bad that he's able to save a weapon out of that one, and they have so many ults coming up.
Yeah, they do. And that's what you've got to be thinking about now. And a point of the timeout, I imagine, potentially looking at the upcoming ultimate cycle, managing these well, where Bitfix have a lot of, you know, big pieces. I think Dimensional Drift, Hunter's Fury, kill contracts that can really add some stopping power and change the dynamic of the round. I feel like Enterprise are a little lighter in that regard. I mean, maybe Yash with the Blade Storm can make a big difference, and Doma's got something planned for his Breach ult to retake. But it is the Operator instead that kicks things off, cracks the whip, there you go, Lamelli gone. With no smokes, the B site take is a very difficult one.
Yeah. Oh dear, Snarky just doesn't quite keep up with the movement there of Martux, but that is a massive Rolling Thunder to just slow down that take. They're not going to be getting onto B at all.
Oh, they're going to go Garage though, and Killers is playing in front of his traps again with this shorty. I mean, the utility keeps them at arm's length, and there he goes, round the corner. One shot, all that's required. Phantom behind it. Weren't expecting that, were you, Rasis? And so as he dips back, it's into Z.
Oh,
the
yeah.
1-2 punch. Left, right, good night. Thank you very much, Enterprise. They've tied up the score from the defense yet again.
That's more like it. We were waiting for Yas to get that operator in hand. I mean, we kind of mentioned it earlier on, but as soon as he gets that operator in Haven, things do change. Like, the ability to completely hold down whatever site he's on at the start of the round, it just opens up his teammates to be able to do more interesting stuff like this. Keyless is looking so much more confident, going for swings left, right, and center
I
now.
will find you.
And when I looked at the veto, I think whether it was going to be Ascent map 1, which was, you know, far more than even my expectations of it, or that undefeated Lotus that we talked so heavily about from the analyst desk, it was the second and third map which were a bigger issue for me. And well, Bitfix on this round could start to skew that narrative once again. It's Killers from the cutout who's found the first of those kills, and trades coming through, but the Stingers with huge value. Starkey used the TP to get in the backlines, but they're just going to run him down.
What?
And Martex is hiding in the corner. He says, you know what, you can win this fight here, but you're dead as soon as you come back out the ground. And there it is, put into the forever box by Lamelli.
Oh, man. The timing on that was terrifying. Zeke looking to see if he could get back control of the round quickly there with the operator, but he's going to opt to put that away. Grab a Phantom and go for a bit of a soul read here on A. As long as he doesn't make noise here, they're not going to have any idea that he's lying in wait here in Graffiti. It's such good timing. They are wary, but oh my god, the corner clip from Lamelli is good enough.
Dude, that's insane. You're talking about one of the players who's been up since 3 AM and he's rounding corners like Lightning McQueen? Dude, get out of here.
I keep forgetting that, man. How many energy drinks have these guys had?
I mean, what do they say? After lightning comes thunder. Syntix was there, but it's like a jump. Yeah, that's stupid. I mean, we're straight into the next gun round. That for Bitfix was sort of thrifty in some senses. There were stingers on the board for them there. And just as quickly as Enterprise can start to carve away at the deficit, things can start to go wrong for them as well. Starkey in mid, he's already spotted the top of the double tap, and that's the last thing you'll see before Martex peeks and kills him. It's another C post plant, but your options in the retake look even far stricken than they did before.
Yeah. Look, Enterprise definitely still have a chance getting into this one. Again, low health for Razis is, you know, a good start for that one, and Syntix is going to be taken down. No more Sentinel to work with on the side of BFG here, but Martex has a good timing here in mid.
Yeah, they've completely given up the site control, playing for the one-way from long. Starkey is dead, so they know that no form of a ninja or anything of the sort a possibility, and there is Martex popping up at just the right moment. Yash will dispense of him, and Cloudbursts can keep the attention of Bitfix on this spike defusal, but no chance for a half or anything close. It's Quicks with the trigger finger and laser-sharp accuracy. As Bitfix at the very least will get themselves 6, but you're looking at moving that onto an advantage in the half now when you consider the buy.
Yeah, look, again, it's a lot more even from them, but Bitfix Gaming still are hitting the shots that they were last map. The strategics, you know, is not as much in their favor, and Enterprise Esports are wresting control of a few of these rounds, but Bitfix Gaming, they just are on something right now. It is unreal, the fights that they're winning, that you just don't see that often, like consistently winning fights that are not in your favor.
This a chance to make it 7, and on a map which Bitfix have not won since the North qualifier for this event. So against the team of Enterprise's caliber, it would be a difficult task, and Yash constantly reminding you why that is.
Yeah.
Won't have the op this round, but the Vandal shoots just as good.
Enterprise have the control once again. A first pick goes in their favor. Yash hitting shots to the Vandal. He wasn't doing that last map.
It's just before the smoke plumes as well, so the hat comes off the head of Killers. That's the information. Starkey using the paranoia to just tee up the play. Instead, he drops back. Good position, but Martex finds the kill. And there are still rifles in the hands of these Bitfix players. don't forget it. It is Zeke and Doma on the Sheriff, and that is one thing to think about. Another is the flank coming in. With lobby control, grass, all of the trimmings, Enterprise do have Bitfix cornered here. The one player they can't get past, though, is Yash. Syntix finally relieves him of his duties, and the map has flipped. They know it.
Yeah, Yash is definitely in the server now, but again, the weaponry on the side of Enterprise Esports for the rest of the team is not looking so amazing. Zeke is going to try and send in some utility to do something, and there it is! Never mind! That works!
Well, more than works. It's round number 5 for Enterprise on the defense. And, you know, we constantly make these little callbacks to previous series that we've seen with these teams. BBL Pacific, a favorite, of course, considering their position in the rankings right now, the most Ascension points of any team, and that's what you're ultimately fighting for in Challengers EMEA, to book your slot in Ascension come October time. And it was on the attack where Enterprise really struggled there. It was a huge focus of them this stage to improve, but I think honestly, you give yourself 5 rounds here. You saw against Sweet and Sour just how many rounds they picked up in that second half. I could just tally it up quickly. It was, you know, 7 rounds there, so that's at least enough, I think, right?
Yeah.
Bigger issue in the final round is just the ults that are up.
Yeah. First half could be looking decent from either way, though. Martux is going to rate himself again. Last time he had a Stinger. This time he has a Vandal. He'll get that kill, get things started for his team, and for Enterprise Esports, the defense becomes that much more difficult.
Starkey does still have his finger on the pulse. He's trying to play himself back into the site and nearly gets away with bloody murder. Razis does cut it short. And so into post we go. Martux a little bit more front-facing on the double door fight this time, and it actually doesn't pay off for him. Enterprise get themselves back in a winnable position, but Quicks, he's just so sharp. And now in this 3 versus 2 situation, they have map-wide control. From Garage they'll go. Zeke gets his opposite number, and now all focus to the long jolt. There's an aftershock in the corner, and that forces the peek out of Syntix, but you don't want that smoke! He's just going to take 2 anyway, and that's the gap between the teams when we hit the halftime bell.
Enemy down.
Moving on to Enterprise's map pick of Haven, the scoreline at the half is a lot more digestible. They've stoked the embers of what looks to be a comeback. You cast your minds back to the game against Sweet and Sour. The same was required of them there. Can they pull it off again and move us to a decider where you start to think this one opens up a whole lot more? Bitfix have work to do if they want to win this cleanly.
Yeah. I mean, look, they have set themselves up for an incredible second map here. First half hasn't quite gone in the same favor, and maybe that, you know, gets in your mind a little bit. Obviously, you know, we don't want Enterprise Esports at full power against us. That's a pretty intimidating team. You take a look at the names there, I feel like it's enough to strike a little bit of fear into your heart. So when they're actually on the server, they're actually performing. When Yash wakes up, there's something to be said about that one, and I think Bitfix Gaming obviously want to get this over before Enterprise Esports start to bankroll the claims that they can make.
They've already made it into the A site here, Enterprise. Now on the attack side, Bitfix setting up for this retake. Smokes here, there, and everywhere, but through them, Zeke has managed to fill Martux with lead. He's finished off. Flashback in on the recon, lining up the play. Bitfix with a few more kills on the way back in. It's Quicks again at the double. All onto Zeke now, and he'll fall along with all the rest. The mirror pick has been shattered. As there's only one Sova in the server right now, I've got my eyes on.
Yeah. I mean, me and MP, we were kind of surprised when we saw the scoreboard at the end of the last map. We were like, oh, Quicks had that many? He kind of came out of nowhere. But on this map, definitely showing exactly why he had that many kills on Ascent, because, my lord, Quicks just... The shots he is hitting today, like whether or not, you know, like that round aside, the 3K, brilliant, but the amount of times he's been in a 1v1 where he shouldn't have won the fight, and he's just flicked 40 degrees to somebody's head.
Yeah. And you're
Amazing
talking
stuff.
about a player who's been plucked from the doldrums of Premier and Ranked. His first ever official was wearing a Bitfix jersey. He's only ever played for this one team. But since his involvement way back in January of this year, you've seen them come on leaps and bounds. That they've already been building around this Norwegian core, but making slight improvements here and there, the tweaks that were necessary. Now starting to look like a serious contender in this stage at the very least. It's Syntix that opens up the round on the C-site defense. This trap is working overtime. That is 2 souls taken at the price of just 1 thread.
Yeah, well, they got the spike down at the very least. There's a little bit of money in their favor, but they are going to be facing the full force of Bitfix Gaming as they move on in all of that weaponry that they have. I don't think, I was going to say, I don't think anything's going to go in their favor, but Martux goes for a little bit of parkour and he'll lose his life for that one.
Yeah. And now Bitfix get to make the choice, you know, you want the Bulldog or do you want the Stinger? You want the Guardian or you want the Outlaw? Hey man, I got them all, man. You know, it's a strong
I'm imagining you opening up a trench coat now with a bunch of
hey, look, I do
illegal
have
weaponry.
This denim jacket does have pockets, but I don't think I'm selling anything, so... Bitfix certainly not needing to buy though. It's just a 1 sheriff that gets picked up. That goes into the hands of Syntix, and they want to entertain this A fight early. We've seen Enterprise play around this area of the map a lot. I mean, against the comp they're with, Martux has his undercut. It can be dangerous. It looks like it's what they're setting up for.
Yeah. Seem that way. Bitfix Gaming, though, have done so much. They've really made good value weaponry work well for them so far. Razis won't get anything, but you have to think that they might make these Bulldogs work. And here is Martux starting things off. He's going to be seen. He's going to back away from that fight. Bitfix Gaming have fully invested in this A-hold.
Yeah, 2 players peeking short, but there could be 3 or 4 on Bitfix's side to go ahead and take that contact. They do as the recon drops in. It's a Lamelli double. They're trailing by a player for now, and positionally, all of the map material is to be collected by Enterprise, distributed between them. They've got flanks set up. But they don't want to spread themselves too thin. We've seen Starkey do this before. That is a bozo death if I've ever seen one.
Camera taken out.
Oh, and Lamelli is making that Bulldog work for himself. He's going to trade it out for a Vandal at this point now, but...
now Doma's pushing Spawn by himself, and there's a chance Quicks could catch him off guard. Killers has only just joined up with his teammate to play the true 2-on-2. But even at moments like this, Enterprise still not giving us that security. Not until Killers steps up to the plate again.
I find them. I kill them.
Yeah, and the fact that that has to take a bit of a personal touch at the end there is worrying. Enterprise Esports let that round slip away from them so easily by the hands of Lamelli there, and it did take some great just personal gameplay from Keyless to bring this one back. It really feels like he's maybe not backpacking the team, he's not carrying it on his shoulders, but they've got to be hurting a little bit at this point.
Yeah, I mean, well, from when I spoke to Zeke, he said Killers is a pillar of this team, and to sort of paraphrase him, it's that je ne sais quoi that he brings. The balance of chemistry where, you know, he's not a massively vocal player in comparison to a lot of the other pieces, especially the Poles that you have on this team, but it's the right kind of blend. And he has lent them yet another round here as he continues to be the kill leader.
Fortunately, Money in a good enough position that they can buy back into this one after all of the weaponry lost. Bitfix Gaming, obviously, are going to buy it themselves, and this is looking to be a very big fight here.
We've got players stuck in utility. How does the fight go? Oh my god, it's all Bitfix from front to back. Not looking too hot if you're Enterprise.
I have retrieved the spike.
Killer's the only player that they can look to once again for an answer, but this time it's in a 1 versus 3.
Cage triggered.
At least he's got all the information in his hands. He sees the flank coming around from Syntix there, so he's not going to get surprised by anything. But Syntix has given up that space. Bitfix Gaming are playing incredibly passively. They want to go for a retake here. They're letting Keyless have his run of the map, letting him get a plant down. I mean, the money isn't going to affect anything in the next round, particularly from just one plant. They just want to rate themselves on this one. They are taking rounds as securely as possible here.
And even the first tap just makes this more of a time issue because the paranoia and blindside can combine, come straight in, and while Killers had a 1v3 in his wheelhouse, this feels a little out of range. Maybe Killers can give us a chance here. For Enterprise, first one picked up. Oh! They line up! And so Killers paints the graffiti wall a blood red, an Enterprise red, as they have recovered yet again.
You could kind of just feel it, couldn't you? I feel like as soon as he got that first kill, it was like, oh no, here we go. But that's exactly what you need. Again, it is Keyless who is grabbing the team by the horns and going, we're going to win this. We're getting back into this series, man. And it's working. It is working. The man is on 21 kills. He is absolutely doing so much work.
Right there.
Like I alluded to before, from every team after Ascend, with the exception of Giants, you know, we've not seen Killers playing at a tier 1 level. It's been a torrid time for him. Championships in Spain aside, when it comes to Ascension, it's just not been at the races. But with this new Enterprise squad, I know they were saying themselves, oh, look, we've only got like a 10% chance of winning it, because it does still feel like a bit of a lottery. We all remember Gentlemates in 2023, the first of those ascended teams. As good as Apex had been, you can be dominant all year and still fall short at the final hurdle. But make sure you win the ones that you should at the very least, and that is a perfect example. The 5th round of the second half is a nigh flawless one, as we go straight into a BitFix timeout off the back of it, because things are starting to get a little bit out of hand here.
It's the first one they've called for the whole series, and rightfully so. I feel like they had no reason to in the first map. Now, suddenly, Enterprise Esports have come up with an answer to them. Look, again, this is Enterprise Esports map pick. You should be, thinking that they're going to be ahead in terms of rounds, but not quite yet. They're getting there, though. 3 on the trot, which is more than they've had at any other point in this series. And it's looking good for them. Look, it's all off the back of one player a lot of the time, right? Keyless has had so many clutch moments, but he wouldn't be in those situations if the rest of his team wasn't doing enough to support him.
No, for sure. I think one thing that BitFix have managed to crack down on is the lobby control. As I mentioned before, one of the strengths of this composition is its combos, and while Martux has one less undercut than he usually would, there are ways to at least threaten that pressure, which Enterprise had to respect, as you can sort of see him wedged in the corner just outside of Sewer on short. That's what you're expecting. And actually, I think we're going to get the Hunter's Fury combo here. This could be quite nice. So focus on Quicks. He should just be looking to get double damage off of this decay as he sends it in. Starkey has the first pick, and yeah, okay, nothing lands. So missed opportunity.
Ooh.
I know
He
exactly.
got one there towards the end of that fight. Starkey is down a little bit of health, but apart from that, Enterprise Esports looking more than ready to take this fight. All of the utility goes through from Enterprise. They don't go for anything more than sending their lurker in.
Keyless spots Quicks, immediately notes his opposition in the server in terms of fragging impact, but I have to say, from the previous round to this one, Zeke had looked pretty good. It's not so hot in that situation now. 4v3, Neural Theft invested, and well, I think BitFix know that they can match Enterprise for numbers on the site here, so they're going to plow straight back in behind the cages. Shots missed from Yash. There's Quicks popping up. I know about this lurk in middle, but it's the kill contract, seeing if we can get anything from Martux. That should now be Garage cleared, but Starkey's just slipped the net at the same time.
Yeah, they're playing just passively enough that that kill contract doesn't find anything. They're not really going to pay a lot of attention to Garage at this point, but Starkey is playing it so passively, still waiting for his teammates to make the fights. Oh, no way!
No! No, Twiggy. I'm getting really sick of this.
I'm getting really sick of you!
How?
Oh, there's no way, man.
Stunned up the double swing from Garage to Long. Enterprise have conceded double digits, and not only that, it comes in the most catastrophic possible fashion. A huge confidence boost for BitFix. While a lot of things didn't go their way that round, sometimes it's that lottery I was talking about. A little bit of luck goes a long way.
Yeah, there's no other way to put that. I mean, like that's karma going back in the favor. Oh my lord, that's a push from the melee. He thought he got everybody. Yash is there to bodyguard at the very least, but again, ults just come on through. There's so much utility being used in the first 20 seconds of the round, and Enterprise Esports are not feeling happy after that last round. They are really sending it at BitFix Gaming.
Well, Syntax has cut out the lurk, so Rasis only needs to worry about the push. It's a 3-player train, but they just roll him over. Syntax now, 1 versus 4. It's just too much to ask of one player in that position. Enterprise have an immediate response to what really should be their 11th round now.
Yeah.
Their 10th round now, but sure. I mean, look, you look at the eco, actually, yeah, it should be 11 rounds.
Yeah, no, it should. But ults are actually looking good for Enterprise Esports here. These are ones that can get you places, right? Obviously, From the Shadows getting you a nice rotate happening, and then post-plant with the Rolling Thunder should be good from them. I mean, there is a great chance to equalize here, and just, look, they've been behind the whole time. It would just be nice to get out ahead.
Absolutely. I think finally we've moved away from that A fight as well, where BitFix had found some strength. I mean, not just from the decay of the undercut, but the suppression as well had stopped the gap close, but Enterprise unperturbed by it. This time they are looking to zone in on C. 3 players up long, heavy garage fight. Zeke brought down to 5 HP.
Oh my God.
Behind the box, it's a battle he can't win. Killer's creeping closer. There's such a target-rich environment.
Oh.
It just shoots back at him. That's another rifle recovered. Now 2 in the hands of this defender's side. Garage fight keeps
Straight down
going.
through the
It
door.
keeps getting worse.
It really does. It's just not in their favor whatsoever. The thing is, every time Enterprise Esports are like, I've got a Vandal, I've got a Phantom, I can spray down these players with their classics and their, oh my lord, the Rolling Thunder has come on out. They're not getting anywhere near. They just get sprayed down themselves. They can shoot back, you know, just because of their pistols. It doesn't mean 5 players aren't going to, one of them find your head. And now in a 2v3, Starkey's going to have to do a lot of work. He runs around his own smoke and he's got all 3 of them. Perfect play to just wrest back control there.
Yeah, Starkey just putting his foot down. I think from that position as well, the Rolling Thunder is simply delay. There is no further intended effect, no capitalization. Enterprise playing to their win conditions, and one of them the time bank. Not against the best of weapons, but now into the gun round, and I guess with a big piece invested on the previous, 9 ult points thrown at it, you're up against the dimensional drift. 1 away from Quix's Hunter's Fury, the 2 most impactful players that Bitfix have on their roster. Getting closer to having those tools, and Razis doesn't even need it! Razis walking away with 3. A quick smash and grab as the map falls silent. Enterprise put to rest again. He's not even done. He was just TPing for the info.
Cutting through.
Might want that ace. He's still peeking around these corners. Doma is lying in wait for him here in long, and if he gets a good timing on that, it's not looking good. The Owl drone comes in from short from Zeke, but Razis is just there waiting. Doma has not checked him yet. Oh, he's going to get taken out by Zeke, though.
Yeah, caught in the corner. Quix was just playing to contain. They didn't know that Enterprise were so far out on site already. The issue now is the players are split up. Zeke is so far back in lobby, just threatening the potential flank coming through from the defenders. Finally, the penny drops and he starts to walk towards long, but Doma's left alone and he can't do enough. The quick trade makes for the 1-on-3. And now Zeke in the hot seat to keep Enterprise in front, to find them the lead, which has been ever evasive. Bitfix at their very best. And in the gun round, they get what they deserve.
I mean, this is making up for that first map at this point. The way this is going back and forth now. Enterprise Esports throwing everything they have at the wall, and it's working for a couple rounds in a row, but then Bitfix Gaming just keep them at arm's length. Keep them behind. And they're going to be the closest team still to that 12 rounds that give them that little safety net. But Yash, he's got that operator back in his hands, and you just know that he's going to get an opening pick here. Like, it's almost 100% certain.
As much as I wanted to open the discussion about depth of map pool by the time we get to, you know, the 3rd map in this series, one which we're yet to see for Enterprise, for Bitfix, they're 1-3 here. They haven't beaten a main event team in the 2 opportunities they had to do it. This is an interesting combo, I have to say. That Hunter's Fury is really being labored at range. It's a very strange, you know, crunch that they effectively try and go for, but now Enterprise have been forced into making this C take, and they don't want to do that on their own terms and conditions.
Oh, Martux is in wait in their spawn.
Trigger discipline played, only 1 kill that Martux gets, and now that does open up the round a whole lot more for Enterprise. Starkey has the From the Shadows, so if he senses a gap, he can go ahead and fill it. Missed shot Yash. Oh, that makes all the difference. Syntix with another. It's a 4 versus 2. Starkey's going to run for the hills. Fact, it's backside B. 1 kill picked up, but how many more can you get from Gong? He's effectively boxed in, and he doesn't see the player to his side, Razis.
Oh, it's another 1v3 here, and this time it's Doma to try and take this one away. He doesn't have a lot of utility. No, he does. He actually has all of his utility to be using. 2 flashes available. His Aftershock is there, so the delay is fine, but the plant is not in a great position for that Aftershock to come on through. Amelie is just going to turn around the corner and give his teammates time. They've done it again! They've done it again!
That is bloody egregious, Twiggy. I feel like I'm watching Paper Rex. It's one thing in that situation to be, you know, the guy jumping around the corner. Oh, look at me, I'm Lamelli, I'm baiting for the peak. When the double swing gets collateraled again.
They both crouch peeked.
Okay, look, Bitfix, I think you can sort of let me off for this for once, but you bloody idiots, what are you doing? This is your opportunity to win the map!
Oh, it's right there,
They're on an
Bitfix.
eco, an enterprise. Oh, dude, this is actually going to a decider. This is actually the
can't
worst
believe
way
it.
to lose a map.
Yeah. And just the momentum that this gains. Yes, I mean, Enterprise Esports, we don't know what they look like on Icebox. We have no idea what they're going to bring out. It could just as well be as one-sided as Ascent, but you don't want to leave it to chance.
Looking to clear out kill edge, but instead he'll empty the skull cavity of Martuk. A second kill there. And sure, they're up against the eco. But, I mean, even so, would there be a chance? I don't think so. Lamelli, now, after being given the red card for what he did in the previous round, he's about to be sent his marching orders again. No way to make up for what we've just seen. Enterprise gifted a golden Easter egg as they are the first team to break 12 rounds.
Man, I cannot believe it. A penny drops, a chair gets moved in you know, like an hour ago, and Enterprise Esports had lost there.
This, and like, I don't want to overdo it, but that genuinely might go on to be one of the biggest butterfly effect moments that we see, at least in terms of this stage in the playoff run, because it's 3v1.
Time to jump.
Forget about it. Right, look, we've got to move on, especially Bitfix here. One round left to give themselves an overtime. And it starts off all right. Rasis opening pick, but now Martux needs to make good of this kill contract up against Zeke.
No.
He's sweating bullets. And so Zeke will finish him off.
I cannot believe that this might be the way that this map, this series, goes. After a 13-2 start on Ascent from Bitfix Gaming, and they have, there's no other way to put it, they have choked that opportunity to get into 12 rounds there, choked the opportunity to win the map.
This is an Enterprise side built on so much experience. If you've been following Valorant keenly since its inception, when the Champions Tour first arrived, a couple of these players lifting that first ever title. And from that point onwards, sure, maybe they haven't been playing at the highest of levels, but even then, it all counts for something. And with that opening pick traded out, Syntix just getting the one. Enterprise are in post and ready to send this onto Icebox. Unknown territory as far as they're concerned. Can Bitfix keep us in this one a little bit longer? Overtime on the cards, but it's looking ever less likely the closer we move towards this one. 13-11. A Bitfix blunder has kept play onwards.
I don't believe it. I do not believe it. That could have gone so differently, and now we're heading to a third map. In a series that Enterprise Esports just shouldn't have been a starter in after a 13-2 first map. I mean, there is... I don't know what's going to happen next, and I'm so excited to see Icebox from both of these teams.
I mean, look, we have seen before Bitfix play into a haven. It's not gone their way. It's been some close games. I think of the Zero Tenacity match, for example. Narrow defeat there, 12-14. Here, not even getting to overtime. Missing that opportunity. The game was in the palm of their hand, and it slips away. And so to Icebox we go. And at this point, look, there's anybody's best guess as to what happens, because Enterprise, they've not shown us anything there. They've got a pretty strong map pool in general, right? It's only Ascent and Lotus where they have one defeat respectively. Everything else unbeaten. Legi has been talking about building them up to get to that, you know, really competitive point. Coming into EMEA, that's a guarantee for both. But for Bitfix, there is no guarantee they make that grand final. And I think that's the very swift reality check that they've been served here.
Yeah, well, thank you, Hazza, once again. I'm going to be seeing you again, but I'm going to throw over to MP one more time. Well, no, there's going to be another time after this one, isn't it? Oh, a new one. Oh. Well, Hazza, no. Get down from there. Look.
It surprises me every time. What is the transition this time around? But we're going to see Icebox. What? I'm going to be honest. Round 21. Razis goes short, goes insane, really great big, with confidence. That is exactly what you need with that composition. Just dueling, getting that triple kill. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be 2-0. Bitfix, they look incredible, but somehow, same side, it happens again. And all of a sudden, we are in Icebox.
It's just hard to believe, isn't it? 2 rounds like that, those 2 rounds could have been the difference. It could have been 8 was after the first 1v3 there. And those are not rounds that should go in Enterprise's favor whatsoever. The rest of it, you know, up to interpretation, that's just, you know, these were all rounds that were happening. But when you have 2 1v3s, post-plant situations where you have all the time in the world to retake this one. The first one, they line up standing up. The second one, they line up sitting down. And it could be the difference between being in the grand finals, guaranteeing yourself an ascension point, and very possibly against, you know, the Zero Tenacity and the Pixel Lumina that we have seen at point during the games that we saw, very possibly coming third, being a third seed instead of second.
That is crazy. I mean, Kiles and Zeke, the champions, they stepped up. 24 and 16, Kiles 25 and 16. I think Yas had a lot of good moments as well. I think there was struggles for the side of Enterprise Esports, especially at the start. But that round 5 timeout was brilliant. Bitfix kind of adapted. They were like, okay, Kiles is getting fire. Let's go to the A side, kind of after that. Let's go to that side. In the end, that actually was their demise in 2 of those rounds. And in a 13-11 match, you cannot afford to lose even 1 of those rounds. Not to talk about 2 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you want to take a look at a couple of those rounds probably right now. So I'm going to let you head over to the telestrator.
Yeah, I think this was actually a brilliant round. This was after round 5 timeout for the side of Enterprise Esports. When we take a look at the utility that either one of these teams have in this round, I think most notably on the side of Bitfix Gaming here, obviously you have Isolt, Hunter's Fury as well, Dimensional Drift. It is a rough situation for a Sentinel, especially Cypher. So we have to take a look at the position where Kiles is on the map. He's setting up his stuff here, but he's actually running away from this side. This is brilliant because you don't want to be seen in that Dimensional Drift and then taken into the ISO Ultimate. Let's play out this round, see how it goes. I think the timeout right here, it was talk about someone has to take responsibility here. Someone has to step up. And look at how Kiles just walks about in this map. This is brilliant. This is the boldness that I think Legia was looking in the timeout. Completely without his teammate, walks through the backside, through an Omen smoke to go find that entry of Lameli opening up this round. And not only that, Kiles is brilliant after this one as well. In the kill contract, he has the confidence and he's like, Martux, you have nothing against me. Absolutely nothing. And Kiles was exactly the guy Legia wanted to stand up here. I'm pretty sure that is something that was talked in the timeout, that we need some player to step up, and Kiles was that player throughout the whole match. Incredible clutches, incredible picks, through and through. This player knows exactly how to play the Cypher.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it on map 1 as well. It was there despite the fact that they only won a couple of rounds. Kiles was the player that was getting kind of, I think, the most value for his team, just trying to wrest back things. And a lot of the time, the Sentinel is the player that is going to be in clutch situations. When you're getting absolutely dominated by another team, it is the player a lot of the time that is going to be getting those kills. But still, when that's happening in a game that close, I think it's a real testament to Kiles' value to this team and his quality as a player.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think Icebox is one of those maps that Kiles is gonna get to play that Cypher. It's gonna have to be something else, maybe Killjoy. I mean, we could see the Cypher, but it's gonna be interesting to see what Enterprise is actually taking in this map, because we haven't seen that previously.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I mean, we've got another map to come. I don't think we thought that after map 1, but here we are. It could be Enterprise Esports staging the comeback here, so don't go anywhere. This series is really heating up. We're going to be after a short break on map 3.
Out here on the street, I'm losing my way. You've gotten to me, and that's my mistake. Some might say I can't get too far without seeing your face. Oh, you gave me your heart and took it away. I'm going underground, going underground. Say your loving comes around, going underground, going underground. 'Cause your love is not around anymore. Going underground, 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 yeah. Going underground, 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 yeah.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Valorant Challengers Northeast. We really didn't think this series would be going as long as it did at any point in the last hour or two, but here we are.
Yeah.
It is map 3 in Enterprise versus Bitfix Gaming. Bitfix Gaming had such an amazing start, 13-2 on Ascent to get things going, and almost closed the door on Enterprise Esports there in Haven, but the sequence of events that has led us to here, I'm still reeling from it.
I like to believe that Bitfix just is thinking our best because we only have one match today. They want to make it entertaining. So let's go to Icebox. They want to expose Enterprise Esports to scump here. I like to believe that wasn't a fumble on the side of Bitfix Gaming. But I think this Icebox is going to be interesting. Obviously, we don't know anything about Enterprise Esports, what comp they run here. I mean, we're going to get to know that in a second. But Bitfix Gaming, they run that Harbor Viper composition, originally made popular, but They cooked up this in Agent Select. They cooked up this in Agent Select.
No, run it back. No, that's a troll. That's a troll, man.
This was cooked up in Agent Select. There's no way.
What is that? That's triple duelist, basically.
I mean, Killes, Ascent, everything, like Killes Zeke, it's no wonder they're playing Reyna here. I was actually kinda expecting that. Like, they've run it before here. But Reyna, Chamber, ISO, I think that's crazy. That is something that tells me that they're like, okay, let's just go play this. I don't know. I think the Harbor Viper comp is gonna be incredible. Viper's gonna place that B-wall all the time on the attacking side. The Cove is gonna be good, but Enterprise, what? That leaves so many questions. You just have to aim so good now, fight those duels like you kind of did in the later stages of that Haven.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Either way, we're going to say goodbye to you. It could be a sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare here for Enterprise Esports, but I'm going to say hello to Hazza, and we're going to... What transition is happening? Oh, hey! He's on the other side of the box.
Am I living in a box, Twiggy? Am I living in a cardboard box? Apparently not. But I have to say, look, you're doing a double shift. You're doing the desk. You're doing some commentary. Enterprise thought, you know what? We'll make your life a little easier when it comes to the winners interview, if they end up winning, I guess. So you can ask, what are we? Like, what is this called? You know,
what?
It's Agent Roulette.
What?
Yeah, it is Agent Roulette. I think.
Yeah, it might have been. Maybe they just went, okay, we need a Viper. Everybody pick Viper. And we'll see what happens after that.
People call me the historian, right, for Polaris. That's a title which I've claimed for myself after being absent the first couple of years. But I'm immediately getting a Peanut Orchestra vibes when they went to Icebox one time. I can't remember who it was against. I think it may have been... It was either Apex or Sweet and Sour. Like one of the top teams, you know, they popped up, they were like, yeah, let's just run an absurd amount of duelists. My concern for this, more than anything, is they're starting on defense. Yeah. I mean, they might just have to attack from the CT side of the map here, which it looks like Zeke is going for. He's pushed all the way up tube already. He's waiting for that pick on mid. Oh, he gives it up right as they start to peek it. But, like, this is what Bitfix should be prepared for, though. You're expecting someone to consistently be on an aggressive line, because that's how you find control. You don't have utility to fall back on, so it's what Yash will do here. The double tap goes in, and it's Killes to follow it up. This is brilliant play between the two of them. A 2-for-1. And in terms of space for Bitfix, they do have Rasis out on B already. That is a concession which Starkey has been willing to make. But the spike is still heading towards A right now, and it doesn't look like that's going to change all too soon. And even if it does, they've got some mid-aggression, so they've cut off the rotation.
Yeah, I think if anything, Bitfix, look, no matter what happens in the first few rounds of this game, they just want to feel out what Enterprise Esports are going for here.
This is Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby. It's a Sheriff and a Headhunter. You're trying to cross mid. You're done for. Razis didn't really take as much space as he sort of needed to there. And so Enterprise have maximum punishment. They just buy very strong guns on very strong offensive agents. And they play very offensively.
Look, here's the thing. I feel like Brennan Hook is quoted quite often in this scene as he should be. But once again, in the immortal words, it's a shooter game. You know?
Yeah.
You get shot, you die. And I think Enterprise Esports really living by the sword on that one. They're going just full on. If we make it work, we make it work. I don't know what led them. I guess they just really didn't want to go to Lotus. That's why they're here, playing a map that they haven't played before, a comp that they haven't played before. It is ridiculous stuff, but it's working.
And look, it's Bitfix going into the meat grinder on this round. I have to just remind you, it's always been the personal hypothesis of Starkey that this Enterprise side, for the individuals, pound for pound, should be shooting better than most of the teams in this league. And now, while I think, you know, we throw the word experience around a lot, that's probably where their strengths lie, at least for me, in terms of as professionals, being able to give us comebacks like Haven, or set up a little bit more effectively. Yeah, everyone can shoot, so if you enable those individuals, then this is what you get.
Yeah, I mean, we're about to see how effective they can be in terms of gunfights against what is a well-tried and tested Icebox composition here from this point onwards, really, when they have that lower economy, and onwards from there when the economy is even.
Killer's taking that first jewel of the gun round. It's just bullets traded right now. I have to say, just while we have a moment, if you are to talk meta reads, Bitfix, this is more of a 2023 comp. And, you know, Enterprise, for all of the tomfoolery, they do have the Teho. And I think there are lots of strong combos that we can see from that with the salvos. And in terms of the map control right now, Starkey's already in the backline. I mean, Martux could get caught out here very quickly. The support of Yash is not so well timed. But he has retained his position, though, so if Bitfix want to go back towards B, they're going to be running into trouble, and while Enterprise have stacked bodies towards A. The first of them is Killes, though, and he's gone down.
Yeah, Bitfix Gaming going to have to run it back a little bit to map 1 here, where they were just hitting shots, and it's working out for them so far. It is just Yash left. He does have a Guardian in hand. It can do some work, and he's coming around from the flank. The spike is down, though. Post plants are looking pretty good in terms of positioning for Bitfix Gaming. They're covering all angles. He really shouldn't have a chance here.
With some orb control early on, Bitfix, the hungry hippos, as it's been dubbed, if you're getting all those orbs on board. Lamelli has his Harbor ultimate, Reckoning. Had to rack my brain for just a moment to remember what that is. And, you know, it could be used here, as it is still a 3 versus 1, but Time ever evading Yash from this position. Looking for a couple more on the way out. Double tap goes up. But as it shatters, he doesn't swivel his head quickly enough to find out where those shots were coming from. It's Martux on the backlines to give Bitfix their first.
Either way, though, lots of damage done to Bitfix Gaming there. That's pretty much optimal. 3 kills on a round like that. Yeah, you've let them get the spike down. Nothing wrong with that. But Enterprise Esports are not going to be unhappy with the start to this map whatsoever, especially on the defensive half. They need to scrounge up as many rounds as they can get here, so that when they're on the attack, their job is that much easier.
I also want to see how Enterprise fight for this early control, because as I say, Bitfix with their own priorities have ultimates they're looking to build into. Killes, it's not often we see him on the Reyna. He's gone down here early on. Raz is trying to get back into the site. It's been given over. The Reckoning somewhat requires that of it. And Martux is flanked through mid, nearly coming up with a third. It's just 2 kills that he'll get in the end. But that just about settles it.
Here's the problem, right, for Enterprise Esports is the gaps are starting to show. There is just not enough Sentinel utility. There is not enough controller utility to really, you know, get them through a lot of these defensive rounds at the very least. Martux just moves up mid and he's done all of the work for the team in the space of 20 seconds. There's no chance for Enterprise Esports to even think about getting back into this round.
Yeah, like Zeke's Chamber, really what you're going to be looking for from him is just what you're seeing right now, holding down an angle with the operator. But I think the issue is you're up against double walls. So yeah, you have to play a little bit more aggressive. The trademark in mid is pretty much all the control they have to stop the cross to kitchen. And its current placement, actually, is the reason why they lost the round, because Martux was unchecked on the way up tube. So through the window, he finds those kills, which change the dynamic of the round, disallow any form of retake. I think just the big thing is you're without a Killjoy here. Like, this is the one map where Killjoy has kind of been able to just retain her position in the starting roster for a lot of teams.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, look, you look at the game and you think, obviously, we just want to be winning. We just want to be getting kills and stuff like this. They've got so many powerful agents going on, but especially on a map like this, the map control is such an important point. You've got so many off angles here, so many elevation changes that you can get up to, and when there's only one trip, and it's, you know, it's an AoE trip. It's not even, it hasn't got line of sight. It is just, you get near enough to it, it'll trip off. It's just not enough. It's not enough for Icebox. And that is why we kind of phased out Chamber quite a long time ago here in favor of more powerful Sentinels.
It's over towards B, where the Chamber of Zeke will be for now, as Enterprise have stacked up heavy on the A side. Rifles in the hands of Starkey and Yash. That's the first that goes down, the latter of those players. And Starkey's not quite in position. He's now grouped up through Rafter, but as he paths in, everyone else is dead. They've all hit the deck, dead and buried. Bitfix have the third round, as well set up as Enterprise would be. And with Zeke still standing in this 1-on-5, and money good for the attackers, you'd think, yeah, they're probably inclined to go ahead and hunt for this.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? I think we're going to be seeing quite a lot of this kind of round in the first half here is Zeke trying not to die at the like for 40 seconds, right? That is basically the name of the game, because the rest of his team is just getting steamrolled so far. And look, this is great. Oh my god, look at that shot. That's so amazing. It doesn't matter. He's not going to win the round.
I feel like I'm watching a YouTube challenge video. You know, 1 Radiant versus 5 Bronzes. Not to disrespect Bitfix here, but you can see immediately they close in on his position after that first op shot. They have priorities. They know, okay, let's remove this from play. He's not going to be able to buy it in the next. The tour de force is far away from being invested. There will be rifles here for Enterprise, but this is a huge opportunity now for Bitfix to kick on.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're past the point where a pug team comp can really work. You know, like, you can say what you want about the quality of the teams as a whole and how, you know, Northeast as a region really just didn't do that well compared to the other regions in Challengers at EMEA, but it's still a tier 2 region. It's still tier 2 teams. They still know what they're doing. So when you run a composition like this, they're just going to pick holes in it all day long.
The macro from Bitfix is very much the same in terms of the bigger picture. They've consistently been placing the Viper Wall towards B. That's just so they can keep reinvesting it to pressure the potential walkout later into the round. All stationed on A right now, though. It is Yash's ult that comes in, but Martax just punches straight through it, as if Yash wasn't even there. The lockdown to follow up the initial play. Enterprise forced to make a decision, and it should be one of retreat.
Indeed. And again, look, this time it's a 4v5. The retake is going to come on through, but there's a very good chance at some point that they're just going to have to give up on this one once again. I mean, 2 kills come through, and suddenly, I mean, with the Viper's Pit, absolutely no chance. Starkey is going to have to make a lot of work happen here. 1v3, and, well, EP with 1v3s might just be the, that might be the linchpin for them, but still 2 to take down. The Viper's Pit is still up. There's no chance, right? Starkey can't do anything here. Kilas couldn't do anything there. Doma couldn't do anything there. Starkey definitely can't. No way. It's not going to find another kill right now. Okay. Thank God.
I mean, look, you set it up. I was going to say, I've seen crazier things in this series alone.
Yeah.
Than the many months we've been stationed on this broadcast. But to look at that round even, the way that Bitfix just take the A site, that's one of the reasons why Harbour can find value in terms of his utility. The high tide, that wall that just cuts across the site, has a slowing effect. So when Enterprise are trying to retake the space and flood back in after the lockdown, you're seeing Killers get caught a little bit and punished along with, you know, the rest of them. Another reason why the Reyna hasn't been in vogue for, you know, God knows what, 3 years at this point on Icebox. It's just a lack of extra utility. You think back to the time when she was being played here, there weren't really that many great options. Chamber didn't even exist in this game. He was still a sketch in a Riot office, you know?
Yeah, you were running her with a jet and or a raise and a breach sometimes. And yeah, plenty of smokes. And it's because you just got none of the stuff that you need to get started here. You know, it feels like they have. I don't even know what analogy I can use. They're starting a football match with 5 10-year-olds.
Yeah, well, I'm interested to see that was the analogy that you landed on, and the technical pause maybe gives us a little longer for you to, you know, reinflate another football-based analogy.
Well, the other 6 players are still, you know, Declan Rice, etc.
Okay.
But
yeah, fair enough.
You can just pick holes in it, you know.
I thought you were a Hammers fan.
I am.
No blowing bubbles.
I'm not until Arsenal give us another 50 mil.
That's fair enough.
Once they win the Champions League, then I'll be happy because then we get the bonus. We get the tasty bonus from Declan Rice.
That is true. That is true. And to sort of tailor that money-making conversation
go on.
back to Valorant, when you look at these teams here and what their objectives are as well, I mean, a lot of that can at times be player turnover. And I actually have a point that I was initially thinking of about Enterprise. I think the last time I saw them pull out a Reyna like this, organizationally, was with Benji Fish, right? That was a one for them. I actually don't think they made all too much money off of that one because Benji being Benji, destined for Tier 1. Point aside though, it does kind of feel like this is a gap in the pool which Enterprise have sort of been happy enough to make. We know that with their Pearl before, they kind of tried out weird stuff. It didn't work. They had to give it up. My initial thought was maybe they were hoping that they could hide their Icebox from officials before EMEA. And especially, look, if you win the upper bracket final, then you only have to play 1 best of 5 rather than 2 through lowers. So that depth and breadth doesn't quite get shown. But here it has been, and yeah, I don't know. It does feel like a bit of a throwaway right now.
Yeah, quick technical pause. Mouse malfunction. 4 players picked the wrong agents, etc. I think it's a bit too late though to go back on this one. For Enterprise Esports, they're gonna have to make it work somehow, and I really don't know if I can see a path to a good first half at the very least here. The second half, you know, that's a different story. Oh my lord. Syntix?
Alright, so the orb has caught Syntix's attention, as has the rendezvous, but Starkey has a player behind him. He's none the wiser. A game of timing. And Syntix doesn't even know it. He can't even call to the rest of his team if you're Bitfix. Oh guys, B is free. Because he's going to be selling them a red herring. Oh my god, he has. He has sold them down the river.
No.
They're walking into just a sheriff on Starkey, and he has to give it up. That could have been a lot more entertaining, but
it could have. Unfortunately, we're bunny hopping across the map, so they got away in time.
But Syntix has still retained a really strong position here.
Yeah.
I think in Bitfix's mind, they just thought, oh well, Starkey's just ran up mid, and oh, he has killed Syntix now, and they are going B. What is going on?
Okay, man.
This is overcooked. This is overcooked.
Silly map, silly comp, silly round, honestly. That is what is happening at this point, and Enterprise Esports, maybe this is the route for them getting rounds on the board, is just doing random stuff. Like just, you remember back in the day doing strat roulette?
Yeah, I do, but
bit of that.
Look at this round for now. I mean, Lamelli 1v4, work should be cut out for him here. No more clutches happening this time. And to go back to the round, I don't think Bitfix have gotten maximum value out of their B-lurks. They've been trying it a little bit. We saw Razis go searching previously. This isn't an area which they've conditioned or put too much pressure on. And on that instance, while you have the cove for the plant safety, Enterprise read it pretty quick, and it was through decent work from Starkey, I guess. And also, just that push down garage at the start.
Yeah, again, look, positioning from them is good. We can talk about their comp, but they are good players, right? Their fundamentals are good. They work well as a team. And when you get them in 1v1s in level kind of terms, like they were a lot of the time in that, it works out for them. So they still have that quality. They haven't checked out yet.
Also think as well, like if there was any map that you were going to make this work, it would be Icebox. We've even seen Tier 1 teams like BBL bring a Clove out, the chamber again. It is possible, but Zeke has gone down early here though. They're trying to flush out Martux from the tube. Something clogging up the pipes, but he is removed at the end. And Razis is right behind a number of players.
the trigger
Played the discipline on the first. Second player spotted. Can he transfer anymore? No. And with that, it's 3-on-3.
I do love the effort there. It's unfortunate that two players ran around the corner at the exact same time as he waited for it, but it was a nice attempt. I think, you know, maximum he was getting one there unless he got quite lucky, so it's good from him. And Syntix just compounds the efforts here. Enterprise Esports kind of have a hard time getting the defuse going. Hunter's Fury comes on out. That delays everything just a little more, and time is ticking down now. They need to stick it, and Keyless is trying to play bodyguard. It's not worked out. Bitfix Gaming, again, just keeping things as, I don't even know, as sensible as possible is what they're trying to do. It seems like they are just trying to be sensible.
Yeah, that they are. I mean, their record since they qualified on this map is 5-2, but in terms of wins from Upper Swiss onwards, you're looking at victories over Pixel Lumina, Zero Tenacity, and ESC. So I think that's the kind of track record which says enough for me to confirm that they know what they're doing here, and it does seem to be a lot of A rounds is what is being played. So Enterprise are actually prepared in terms of their setup defensively on these rounds. The issues have been through, you know, middle, maybe a player is getting free or someone lurking out B late. For the most part, though, finger on the pulse.
Much slower round so far than we have seen. I think they know once again that Zeke has picked up that operator, that there is going to be at least one sightline on the map, which is a little tentative to push. I think they figured out that A might be a good place to try and make inroads, though. I like how they're playing cautiously. This is kind of what you need to do, I think, against a comp that goes against conventions here, is just make sure you're playing it to your own tune.
Well, Starkey will spot one player on the other side of the map. It's completely forfeited by Enterprise. Full focus on the A site. The spike is hightailing away from there. Bitfix looking to make a late lunge on the left-hand side.
30 seconds left.
Walking up through mid is Zeke. If Martux gets taken down here, then the whole round is thrown into trepidation, and Starkey's thinking about it. He might have just seen a shoulder, and there it is. Zeke ahead of the curve. Bitfix have to commit to this, and while the Cove will help, there's an appendage left out, spamming away onto the Headhunter, looking to deny this outright. They seem to have done so successfully. Quicks has to stick it, but he can't survive. And so Bitfix once more go for the late B play, and it's just a mess.
Yeah. I think that, if they re-hit A there, I think there's a much better chance of that happening. Obviously, that all really just came down to being outside of the harbor bubble there when the plant was going down. But still, it is a game of such fine margins, this one. When you're playing with two teams that have such just on-point players, especially Bitfix today, you know, like the teams as they are obviously filled with great players, but right now Bitfix are hitting shots as well, and that just elevates them to the Enterprise level that we know, you know, we've seen these players do so amazingly on such a, you know, the tier 1 stage as well. It just makes this such a high energy game.
We haven't seen this kind of aggression out of Enterprise on their A-hold since probably the pistol round, to be honest. It's Yash and Killers again. The Lear went in, it's forced Razis to burn the dash. Less gap close that they'll have when it comes to the site execute proper. Something you've got to think about. A lot of this composition does rely on the Jet finding entry picks with how slow burn it can be at times. Razis has already made it to topside though. He's very far ahead of the rest of the team, still behind the screen. Trades coming out, Quicks at the double, into the corner Doma. Waiting at Generator, Recon in a little late. The Decay is there to help tee him up, but no further kills. And so Bitfix do end up in front.
Zeke is coming in with the operator. Oh, there's the first one he's found. Lamelli is left reeling after that shot. And that's the thing about Chamber, is maybe not an amazing sentinel for this map, but at the same time, his utility as a duelist is absolutely ridiculous. They're just going to rush around the corner. Lamelli with the jump peaks.
Lamelli showing us he does know how to jump peek around the corner as Syntix trades it this time, but still not the best plant spot. Starkey Trying to play around the corner, but the Nano's bought enough delay for Bitfix to reposition, and so this one should be out of harm's way. It's a half stick. The shots won't land. Syntix has the drop on his opponent, and Bitfix do collect 6.
Yeah, it's close again from Enterprise Esports. They're making this work really well. Fair play to them look, I'm not even talking about the comp anymore. I'm specifically talking about the fact that they just don't know Icebox that well. They haven't played it so often, obviously probably in scrims, but on the server, in an official, it's been so long since they played an Icebox map, these players, and they're making it work real well for themselves. They're on the defensive half with the utility that they have. 4 rounds is not bad, and a lot of these rounds are coming down to very fine margins, clutches at the end. So you can see this going either way towards the end of the game.
Things aren't going to get any better for Yash either. Currently trailing at the bottom of the score sheets for Enterprise. This ISO pickup doesn't feel to have suited him so well. Killer's hoping for a kill so he can dismiss and not be detained, but it's the latter instead. Doma fighting through the wall, and Martuk's just cleaning things up in middle. Bitfix far in front in this round. A multi-layered approach with the spike going down inside the Hubba Bubba yet again. And so Starkey is forced to scratch his head. 45 seconds or so to just reconsider. As Bitfix will have their advantage coming out of the opening 12 and into the possibility of making it to that grand final.
Yeah, exactly. They really did just get given a golden ticket. I mean, every single map so far, it has been some form of invitation almost to get into that grand final, right? Map 1, obviously, Enterprise Esports had a non-starter. They didn't really get anything going whatsoever. 2 rounds on that one. Bitfix Gaming took it for free. The second time, hold on. Oh! Again, they're just kind of crispy today. The second map, they had that opportunity to get through that one. There are a lot of rounds that Enterprise Esports really shouldn't have got. So Bitfix Gaming had that invitation once again to the grand finals. And here, being given this kind of Enterprise Esports that we haven't really seen, they have not played this map that often. You can see they're a little uncomfortable with what they're playing. It's another opportunity. They just need to not squander it.
Yeah, and it comes back to what we were saying before as well about these players on a mission for career revival, trying to return after being cast out of the top tier, now in challenges. You've got to be beating the Bitfixers of the world, and that's not to punch down on them either. I think they've done a brilliant job to battle this far into the competition. If anything, they should be winning this game now with the situation as it is. But Zeke taking matters into his own hands, already has the first 2 kills. And is looking for more with that tour de force.
Recalling my bot, placing alarm bot.
Recalculation now from Bitfix Gaming. They know that mid is probably not going to be an option in terms of a pincer maneuver over towards B here. So it is just going to be a full main hit if they do want to go for this site. Starkey is the one holding guard here and does not have a rifle to work with.
Does have the snake bite, and it does come out a little bit preemptively because it's to buy some time for the rotation. It's only the Sheriff. Blemishes on the buy that Bitfix have inflicted. Looking to add an 8th, which could make a world of difference as they are now onto the site with the Reckoning set up. The Armageddon is just going to deny the spike plant, but already a deep deposit in the form of Syntix. He fights towards Snowman, and it's Yash on the receiving end yet again. A couple more queuing up, one of them Zeke, but that tour de force barely gets played in before Syntix has found 3 of his own. It's a 2-on-2, little plant safety, Lamelli with plenty of work to do.
That's a good start.
Yeah, with bated breath, he waits for the shots. Oh, to the rope! And Zeke will cut him loose. That is number 5 for Enterprise. A much-needed round.
What a way to do it, Zeke. I mean, look, use that. Use what you got. That tour de force went absolutely insane. That flake was so good. Enterprise Esports have put themselves in an okay position here. I do like their chances in this one. I think it's going to be a close end to this map. But either way, we're going to head to a break before we get to the second half.
Move on the map,
Welcome back to Valorant Challengers Northeast, where we come into the final half of play on this Easter Sunday. Bitfix looking to be the team with the advantage right now that goes to the grand final. They've had many opportunities to see themselves there. But the revenge story of Enterprise continues on Icebox. And as wonky as the comp may appear on paper, this side is where it will be at its best.
A lot of that, of course, comes down to the Chamber doing so much with the tour de force, obviously doing so much with all of the utility the Chamber is afforded, right? And running a triple duelist comp, the thing is, if one of those duelists is able to just get like 3 kills around, like Zeke has been basically, you're still going to win rounds. And on the attacking half, that's looking a little scary. He's holding the flank this time, though.
And as you said, 3 duelists. This one, Sentinel with it on a technicality and just looking to lock down the flank. Already 2 kills from the Headhunter. That's Zeke delivering, even over-delivering perhaps in terms of his duty, because when Quicks goes down, that veil is swiftly lifted. Bitfix have been revealed as they try and rotate back in. The retake's unsuccessful. And you want to talk about confidence boosters. Yash finding a triple kill on the pistol is the perfect way to start for the ISO player who had not had the best of starts.
Yeah, no, for sure. He definitely didn't have the impact that I think we thought he would have in that first half. But again, yeah, the attacking half is where he's going to come alive, right? And he is essentially one of the linchpins in terms of this one. He's going to be filling in the space that Kilos makes as the kind of, you know, the jet of the composition, as we would kind of make it in an Icebox comp nowadays. But yeah, having 2 duelists, always the way it's been is you have a space-making duelist and you have a fragging duelist. And yes, on this attacking half should really be the fragging duelist.
It's the highest ACS of any player left in the competition right now. Yeah, just remind you, the person in second place isn't even a duelist. It's Quicks on Bitfix after some very promising maps that we've seen from him. And here is Yash again, cutting out that kill on rotation, as Bitfix have already shown us they're more than willing to be proactive on their defender's side in terms of how they're playing it behind these double smokes. It was B on the pistol. And now through mid here, they come into a retake where Zeke has already chipped away at a lot of that control. His Marshall aims true, while Yash will go down and leave it with just 3 players standing for Enterprise. That is the bonus set up with a couple of rifles and the scoreline tied.
I do like this from Enterprise Esports so far. Obviously, we haven't seen any gun rounds yet, but they're bringing Valorant kind of down to the bare bones, right? We're not seeing a lot of insane utility. Not that they could use a lot of insane utility, right? It's really a lot of default Valorant, right? They're just playing to get kills. They're playing to go, okay, we're going to win 1v1s, and then we're going to move on. We're going to take space by defaulting our way in, by contacting up a lot of areas, and it's working for them so far.
And this tactical strength is built up by the long-term investment from Bitfix into this project, back from when it was known as Veneg Yengen, or even just the ex-Metasport group, the cohort which were kicked before the 2024 season started, but already eclipsing the performance of their former employers. Can it get any better? That's what we're wanting to try and see before EMEA kicks on, and it's another round which begins with Yash finding the opening blood and the A site open for the attack side taking.
He's really come alive right now. He's doing things to me at the moment, and you know that grenade from Enterprise Esports at the end of map 1 seemed like a foul omen for them. Maybe that's a similar thing going on there. Recon dart into the wall in front of you, and Bitfix Gaming on a round they really should be winning once again. It's not looking great for them.
Trying to build on what they have. Steps being heard by Rasis. Just enough toxins left to put the cloud up and support him, but the 1-for-1 won't suffice. Now Enterprise have the numbers put into post. Rasis has to go nuclear here, but Kiles claims the kill, which puts Enterprise in front. And sort of even going back to what you were building up there, in terms of Bitfix's utility to deny the plant, they do have tools. You've got the nano, the shock, I think, rather than the recon, the snake bite. Not really seen that from them so far.
Yeah. I feel as if somehow the pure, you know, the heavy hitter, right, the melee style of Enterprise Esports, in that they're just running at them with guns in hand, is kind of baiting Bitfix Gaming into doing the exact same thing back at them. They're like, okay, we just have to fight them. We just have to fight them, and they're losing the fight.
Well, let's see if they can do it on this round. Already 4 players pushed up from the jail. They are put in a box. It's Enterprise with 4 kills on the site, just the 1 casualty, Yash going down. But if he can create the space for the rest of his team, then it is not a problem at all.
Ruh-roh. Yeah, I need to see some slowing down here from Bitfix. Their retakes have been far too quick, far too spearheady, right? They're running in, they're trying to win gunfights, and I feel like they're taking space without using utility instead of just trying to isolate stuff.
When you look at the difference between the Sova and the Teho, obviously you saw those salvos are really great. Yeah. The guided missiles at just stopping plants, helping you set up, being more effective utility. The reason why we've seen the meta shift since he was introduced. But Bitfix have so much stopping power with this double wall setup, with the Harbor, with the Viper. Right now, both of those catered towards A, as Enterprise are starting to put a little bit of pressure on elsewhere. This is a fake. Spike still postured for A. How do Bitfix react?
They don't so far. Particularly, they're still trying to default across the map, make sure that there are no gaps for Enterprise to exploit for the moment. But again, contacting all the way up, and they're now up very close towards A. Can Kiles get one before he gets out? I mean, he does a lot of damage. Somehow he hasn't taken any himself, and the Spike heads towards B now.
Yeah, Enterprise have set up for this really nicely. Starkey keeping that position towards yellow. It's Martux that's walked in. His snake bite's already been used. Syntax still with a nano in pocket. Spike is still heading in this direction. Razis should have a freebie on Zeke. He walks up right behind him. Oh my god. Don't scare me like that again, Zeke. Had far too many a horror show so far in this map, and maybe that continues here. Into post plant, Enterprise are down on the back of their feet. Might just be falling flat in this situation. coming into the retake. Lamelli has the cove to potentially get back onto the spike here, and that's something you've got to be thinking about, but he's the first one to fall. In fact, it's Starkey with a triple. And Bitfix just disrespecting the screen there, pay the ultimate price.
Enterprise have changed the game here. They have just
Look at the
gone,
money.
okay. Yeah. I don't know how you do a lot against this. Again, look, I mean, look, there's not much I could have done there, right? But the dry peaks out of those smokes were never going to be in their favor. Never at all. And it seems like that's just been what's happening this half so far. 5 rounds now in the favor of Enterprise Esports, and it looks like the momentum is just steamrolling them.
Yep. So on that attack that we prophesized, Razis, none of the blades land until he can finally nail Starkey with the final one left. He hits a quick reset. Yash is hearing these rotations happening in the meantime, breaks the turret, was just hoping to maybe catch Martix in transition. You've already got such strong line control with the support of Zeke here. Martix only heard the shots, he didn't realize it was 2 players. And a re-clear coming through from Boiler from Bitfix while Yash is taking a laboured fight onto Syntix. Guardian winning at range. Now it's the guns up close as he's into the grill. Lamelli goes, it's Killer's one back. Razis has found 3 in the meantime. And it's another clutch for Doma, but he's got all the tools to work with.
Yeah. I mean, this is the highest utility kind of agent that they have on the team. He's not going to be expecting Quicks to come around from behind, but the timing is good. Nah, he's still not going to look around that way. Quicks is able to take the head off real easy. A Bitfix Gaming get their first breather in the half.
That they do, and it also came through the aggression that you'd sort of heavily criticized, except this time there was a little bit more setup there, and Razis free-flowing with the blades in hand is always going to be much more easily mobilized than, you know, players contacting up to pipes. So
yeah,
I am sort of playing devil's advocate here, but the bigger point I think is just look at the ults now.
Yeah. It is good for Bitfix now. They might not have the weaponry to, you know, really be absolutely perfect. Obviously, a couple of half armors coming through and a little bit less utility than they'd like, probably, but all is good. They just need to get a couple more rounds like that and they're back on, you know, level terms, both in rounds, both in economy. Things are looking good. This is good. This is using that, you know, the utility that they have to get that space.
It's a brilliant combination from Bitfix, and this one lays up a rifle round conversion, which then in tow helps restore credit to this side, keeps them in a contentious position. Starkey has just finished off the shoulder spot of Syntix, caught wind of that a little early, has free roam to the B site, another 2 versus 1. But this one, I think, has legs to it.
Does indeed. I mean, it's been a slow round here for Starkey. He's going to use a Viper's Pit. Oh no, is he expecting Martix to come round from behind this quickly? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so at all. That should be a kill. And again, Bitfix Gaming just managed to get it over the line. These are close rounds
in the
again.
exact same way as well.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a play creeping up in the 2v1 and like just given half a second extra. Then maybe there was a chance for Enterprise, but this is another very well called round. I mean, I'm just loving this set piece at the start. The Hunter's Fury is a huge distraction. That sends players scattering. One of them, Zeke, into the crosshair of Razis. And Martix actually walks away with 3. He had walked out lower at the start of the round. And now, what, with only 1 ultimate invested, they're still holding on to 3 big pieces. The Pit, the Lockdown, and the Reckoning. Bitfix are in a great position right now, especially if they win this round.
Yeah, indeed. It's just really been so one-sided back and forth, these little blocks of action. 3-4 rounds in a certain direction, and now Enterprise Gaming seem like they're on the back foot. Obviously, they still have a little bit of buffer in terms of the economy that they've made up in this half so far, and they're still not looking unconfident. But at least Bitfix Gaming have brought this back into a contentious area for themselves.
Spike planted.
Yeah, Bitfix playing for the A retake on this round, and the Lockdown coming in from a position of safety was set up to do exactly that. They have the Reckoning available as well, Martux's Pit. if they so choose it. Oh my lord, we are feasting on the kill contract there. But the Reckoning's already gone off, so the Harbor gets its value, even post-mortem. Lameli down, the Armageddon in. Heavy investment, both teams. This only makes a round win that much more tantalizing. And Enterprise looks set up for it as things stand. Doma's got a double. Martux is the next to be shown the door as Enterprise are rolling out that red carpet straight towards the grand final.
We're getting real close here now, and while the scoreline does give me a little bit of a flashback to the one on last map, the other direction. Hopefully Enterprise won't lose two 1v3s to give the advantage back to Bitfix Gaming. We'll see.
Yeah. And look,
it's good from them though. I'm loving how aggressive they are.
Last chance saloon for the defense, because if your money dries up here and you're throwing coins into the wishing well on round 22 with Enterprise looking to be the team that takes top seed going into the grand final. The one which we had thought from the very start would take that step up when other notable challenges such as Metasport, which the steps of Bitfix have followed, and Liquid alike failed to make it deep into the competition. And here we go, Enterprise on the A site, a story which we've seen several times, and it's Yash with his second half turnaround, supported by the rest of his squad, that has queued up the 12th. The killing blow comes from Starkey, captaining his side to an improvement on the previous stage. Just one more required for them to achieve that aim.
And I don't think it's going to be the blockbuster final round we might have hoped for either to send them into the grand finals, because the economy is not looking good for Bitfix Gaming. There's no armor for Syntix at all. He's just got the Guardian glass cannon going on. Same for Quicks. This really could be a quick final ending, especially with the way that... Final ending? it's a fun...
Well, all things come to a close.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Twiggy, and I think we might be seeing it here.
Yeah.
It's a site stacked by Bitfix. They are 5 players strong, but may soon fall. Killers and Yash have already combined from this position, as they have done oh so many times. And that's not stopping for anybody. Yash won't part the way. Oh, I say that.
Okay.
Bitfix do finally retaliate, and the spike just dropped on the other side of Belt, so they don't have the info yet. But the flank is coming in, and so time is of the essence.
They've got to clear the spawn here so that they know something is coming from the other side.
I mean,
the more they give up, the less map control they have from their flank. I think they've caught onto it by now that there might be something coming from behind them.
It's both of these controllers as well. Lameli the only one left with the utility. Most assists of any player from that position. But can he support the rest of his team? Can him and Martux give Bitfix that olive branch to just hang on to a little longer? It looks like Martux can at the very least, but Zeke has got the drop and found the first of the kills onto Lameli to save them now. Mistakes made in previous maps cannot be atoned for here. It's all Enterprise as they go to the grand final.
You can't believe it, the way they have got themselves that win to get to the grand finals. Absolutely insane. It's befitting of a team like Enterprise Esports. I'm glad that they managed to make it work in the end. But look, I mean, this is the team that, well, the only team remaining that got to Challengers EMEA last time around. They managed to make it work this time, and I couldn't be prouder of them for getting that top 2 seed. That's not what they managed to reach last time. That was the thing, right? They wanted to get up to that the top 2 seeds, but they were closed out of it by Team Liquid Academy and Shaq Matt at the time. Look, do you have any closing thoughts before I replace you with NP?
Before my particles have changed for MPs and I'm completely replaced, what I will leave with is this. I think we saw a very sloppy series today from both teams, but we also saw some great Valorant. And I think Enterprise, in many ways, have been able to build off the back of what they set us up for in the first stage. This is a very long year of Valorant in Challengers. You know, it's not just done in that first stage. Ultimately, it doesn't mean all too much in terms of points, as things are just going to get bigger and better as we go along. I think think the main takeaway for me is, yeah, they have their spot in the grand final. They're the team which, you know, domestically just have to be good enough to get the maximum points. That's what they've already secured, and they'll look to take another title now with the players that they have. And for Bitfix, I think they've already done a brilliant job to just break the mold and get to the position that they have. EMEA is confirmed. One of the advantages that teams in Northeast do have is that we've got 3 weeks from when this one concludes, you know, a week from now on the 27th, to then prepare for that event. So there is plenty of time to get things ironed out. There is a lot of promise, but there is also still a lot to be done. So I'll leave you with that one. Enterprise are grand finalists. Congratulations to them, and we'll see if they can bring it home when we get there.
All right. In fact, thank you so much, Hazra. I'm just gonna. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm doing some magic. Oh, well, I thought there was going to be a transition, but that time it was just a wipe. Okay, cool, yeah. Oh, well. Bye, Hazard. Hi, MP. How's it going? How how did you feel about that map?
I mean, I'm kind of surprised. But in a sense, I think maybe Enterprise Esports were too much in their head in the first map of Ascent. So maybe this composition at the Icebox was fine for them. They just let it all go, knew that they have it in them to aim. And they absolutely did that. I think Hasa even brought up the point previously that Starkey has highlighted Enterprise as one of the better aimers of this league. One of the, like, most of these players, or all of these players, should aim above everyone else in this league, and I think that is exactly what we saw on this last map. I think there was some question marks for me, especially on the first half, like something like Gilles got the Reyna ulti on round 3 but used it in round 11. Something like that. I was like, I'm not sure if this is actually gonna go all the way in the end, but in the end, Zeke, insane performance. Gilles was popping off as well, and I do love that Yas was getting comfortable as well. We saw highlights with it. I think this was one of the rounds where I was like, okay, Yas, yeah, we love that for you. We love that when you're popping off. It's looking good.
I mean, that's the
because
thing, right?
This guy's one of the best duelists.
Yeah, exactly. After the first half, I don't think we thought we'd be seeing him on that MVP level up at the top of the scoreboard there, but there he is with a 265 ACS. And it's impressive work, especially in that second half. We knew that they were going to be better on the attack than they were on the defense with the composition that they had, but that was something else, I think, from, you know, the duelists, as including Chamber, from the team there, and Yas was really leading the way in terms of the kill feed there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, there was some struggles, especially on the defensive side, and it is obvious when you have only Chamber as your sentinel, you have only one trap to cover those angles, and if your soul or the enemy soul is really awake there, it's gonna just shock dart that Chamber trap instantly away. But in the end, I think the pure raw aim was the deciding factor for Enterprise Esports. I think Bitfix, they definitely had pure raw aim, but maybe they weren't quite ready in this messy style of Valorant that the Enterprise Esports was kind of playing in this last map.
No, I do think that was, kind of what I saw of that one, right? It might have kind of pushed them off guard a little bit, and it didn't seem like they were playing in the same way, you know, they were playing in map 1, right? Where every shot landed, every single one landed, and they were the ones defaulting there. They were the ones contacting every single corner, checking everything, flicking onto heads, and it seemed like the script completely flipped in that final map. Enterprise Esports were the ones that were running in, just barely using utility, just tapping heads, right? And that's kind of the way you would expect it to be, right? That's the way round you'd expect it to be, especially when Enterprise Esports are playing against a team that we know as having, you know, one of these crazy Lotus comps, one of these interesting strat books that confounds analysts all over. But yeah, it was a weird series from start to finish, I think.
Yeah, but I think it already paints a good picture in terms of Bitfix gaming and our chances in challenges EMEA, that Bitfix can actually face against Enterprise Esports, actually dominate against Enterprise Esports in Ascent at least, which I think is a really good showing of our league already.
Yeah, for sure. Well, to get a better idea of the showing of our league, we're going to get an interview here with Doma. Maybe pick his brains a little bit on what was going on there. Congratulations, first of all, Doma. Well done on the win.
Thank you very much.
So, look, we haven't seen Icebox from you guys yet so far, and I think you can probably guess what kind of question I'm going to have for you on this one. What is going on with the composition there? What was the thought process going into the map? Oh.
Oh, hello, do you hear me still?
Yes, yeah, you're still there.
Sorry, yeah, my phone rang, so cut out. Go on then. What was the question?
So what was the thought process going into Icebox there? You know, obviously the composition was a bit out there, not something we'd expect from you guys, because we didn't know what to expect to begin with. We haven't seen Icebox from you, but just kind of picking your brains on what you were thinking, picking that composition, going into Icebox against Bitfix Gaming there.
I mean, we cooked up the comp like maybe 5 days ago or so, and we just went like, we haven't had much practice on this map, so we just took like comfort pretty much, and just something that's not too easy to play against and not too common, and we just decided to play it like a wildcard, and it actually worked out pretty well, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did, and I think it was all thanks to you focusing on your aim and just completely dominating that. I want to take it back to Haven, especially the round 5 timeout. After that point, it seemed like Killes was literally unstoppable. What on that timeout? Was it something like, okay, I need someone to step on the plate? What did Lega say?
I think it was just like a focus up type of timeout. Just we weren't hitting our shots. We were still a bit maybe shaken or surprised by how we lost the first map on Ascent. So I think it was just like a wake up call kind of timeout. We were still like in the first map, just got destroyed. So we had to just focus quickly and focus on aiming, and that's it pretty much. Just a timeout.
Yeah, I'll throw this to Twiggy, but that from me.
Alright,
from
well,
me on that.
Look, so you've made it obviously to the grand finals now. I think we've kind of set this up as you guys have been, you know, you got to Challengers EMEA last time, you got 3rd place in Northeast at that point. I'm assuming you're aiming for 1st seed coming out of Northeast this time around, but what are your expectations going into Challengers EMEA now that you kind of know the quality of your teams you're coming up against, especially from like Turkey?
I mean, in Challengers, I feel like I expect better than obviously the last time, but it was still close last time. We had very close games with some, I'd say probably like the best tier 2 team beside us, maybe in Video Pacific. It was still a very close game. I think personally we should have won it. And now for the next one, I just expect the same and just even better, obviously. Like we're showing in the split so far that we've improved, and then again, I expect the same, just better for the Challengers as well.
All right, well, thank you so much for having a chat with us. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck preparing for obviously the grand final and then Challengers EMEA after that, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Doma. All right, well, what a series. I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous. Oh, there he goes. Oh, no, he fell over. What a series. Start to finish. I mean, there's no more entertaining than that. After the first map, genuinely, what was going through my mind after the first half of the first map, it was 11-1, I was like, okay, cool. Well, this is going to be a short day.
Yeah,
Didn't expect Bitfix Gaming to be the one steamrolling, but here we are. And then that happened.
Just to like kind of open up the curtain, we were already kind of checking what was the previous 13-0 that we've had in this league. So that definitely tells what happened in the Ascent. In the end, it was a really dominating performance from Bitfix Gaming. I mean, if the last map was Lotus, it could have been different, but it was in the end Icebox. Bitfix definitely had their chances in Haven, like we talked about. There was 2 rounds at least where they absolutely fumbled the bag, but the good thing to say about Bitfix Gaming is that they are this close to be beating Enterprise Esports, or at least where. Sure, they might have a rematch in the grand final if they can actually go through the lower final. It's going to be interesting to see, but I think it was already a good performance from Bitfix Gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all this does today is solidify for me that, you know, it really is our teams are getting better, they are evolving, and they are going up against each other in a meaningful way that is going to grow, hopefully, the kind of performance of our region in Challengers EMEA. Either way, we have not finished this playoffs yet, and let's take a look at the bracket so we can see what is going to be coming up next. As we mentioned earlier, with Bitfix Gaming moving down there, the winner of Zero Tenacity versus Pixel Lumina is going to be playing them again. That's off stream. You can see 22nd of April. Unfortunately, because of the holidays, the players are not going to be available to play today on that one, so it means at the very least we get a nice early dinner time today, and then we can reschedule for that one. So keep up to date on the socials for that. Because it's an important game. Obviously, one of those teams is going to be eliminated and out in 4th position, which is a big seeding thing. When we saw the teams that came into Challengers EMEA, 4th seed going into BBL Pacific at that time, and probably once again going into BBL Pacific, is going to be a really tough group to get out of. So you do want to get as high as you can in the seeding as possible. But yeah, again, that is going to be off stream. We're not going to see who is eliminated unless you check the socials. So go to Twitter, check out everything on there, and you'll be able to keep up to date with that as best as you can. Apologies on behalf of all of us for not being able to stream that game, but the players do need their rest, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's a good thing to have their rest. And I think talking about ascension points, there are gonna be really crucial when we're gonna be back on the stream next time. That's gonna be on the 26th, and I think it's gonna be banger matches. It doesn't matter whether it's gonna be Zero Tenacity or Pixel Lumina facing against Bitfix Gaming, because it was already really good showing today. I really want to see that Bitfix Lotus again, and I hope we're gonna see that back on 26th.
Yeah, maybe we will see a 12-0 scoreline for them, but for now, for us, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us for what was an incredible series. We'll see you again next week for the rest of the playoffs. Thank you so much from myself and from MP. Goodbye.